I know, but just listen. So, plenty of time before the play starts, hit the red button. And when the play gets over, just hit the red button again, okay? Does that make sense?
Should I just start whenever I hit it?
No, just look, okay? Because when you want to start before the play, and then when you hear the whistle, wait a second and then do it, okay? Because if you do it right when the whistle goes, then it'll miss the end of the play. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you want to...
I mean, like, when it's about to start to play.
Yeah, you can do that, yeah. Or then when the play gets over and you see the guy get tackled, everything, press the red button again, okay? And it's connected to that, right? And that's going to be the drone. So it's going to show stuff as we go, okay?
I ran away on you. And I think they're kind of like, that's what I've been telling our kids. Oh my God, their core group has played for a couple years. Well, you guys aren't going to be phased because you all played for a couple years. So I think when that happens, it just comes down to who can make more plays, who can execute better. But they're a spread. The quarterback can really throw the ball. The Rogers kid had 1,000 yards. Terrell Chandler's a high-level power forward recruit. Defensively, they're sound. Dom Cole's backer, who's an all-state player last year. They have a lot of pieces back. They're a really good football team. They mirror us in a lot of ways, and I think it's going to be a really good game.
Coach, I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here on the Laura Lynn Green pregame show. The Wildcats taking on the Halls Red Devils here at Blankenship Field. We're on FM 92.7, FM 94.7. We're also on PrepRadio.com and streaming this ball game on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. My name is David. In a moment, we'll be joined by Alex Myers. Alex and Mike Sheehan will be part of our broadcast, along with Mark and Shauna Hayes. Stay tuned with us. It's the season opener here from Blankenship Field. The Wildcats and the Red Devils. We'll be back to Blankenship Field right after this.
Hello, this is Jim Norman, proud member of the 1979 Oak Ridge Wildcat.
The probable starting lineup on offense for Oak Ridge. At left tackle, number 57, Jared Baffert. At left guard, number 74, Elijah Young. At center, number 50, Caden Shippen. At right guard, number 58, Corey Holt. At right tackle, number 67, Nate Stevens. At wide receiver, number 11, Adam Washington. At wide receiver, number 9, Jarrell Jimerson. At wide receiver, number 2, Will Presley. At tight end, number 3, Malik Howard. At running back, Dominican Porter, number 8. And at quarterback for the Wildcats, number 1, Blaine Stansberry.
Wildcat football coming up in 90 seconds. 90 seconds till Wildcat football. Good evening and welcome into Blankenship Field at Jack Armstrong Stadium. Alex Myers, David Clary, Mike Sheehan with you tonight. Mark and Shauna Hayes and Brian back at the studio producing tonight. So we welcome you into, once again, another season, 2025 season of Wildcat football. The Oak Ridge High School Wildcats are set to take on the Halls Red Devils here tonight at home, as this is week 0, technically. The first ball game played in the entire state of Tennessee. It's a Thursday night ball game. It's a beautiful night here in the Secret City. David Clary, not many people have called more or have seen more of these games than you have. I'll give it to you to give your opening thoughts here at the beginning of the season, as we are 8 minutes away from Wildcat football.
So excited to be back here once again. You know, every time Oak Ridge kicks off a new year, there's high expectations for, obviously, the Wildcats to go a long way. Last year finishing in the Final Four in the state of Tennessee and losing to Sevier County in that first ball game. Very, very tough way for that game to unfold and lose. But the Wildcats, with a senior-dominated team, should have a very exciting season and a tough schedule. And I'm just excited for it to get started here in a few minutes.
We'll go ahead and send it off to Brian back at the studio for a 3-minute timeout. In 3 minutes, we'll come back with kickoff from Oak Ridge High School.
You worked hard to build your business, and we want to help you protect it. The team at Fox Insurance Group believes your business deserves the expertise of a local insurance agent. With business insurance from Todd Fox at Fox Insurance Group and Encova Insurance, you can make sure your business stays up and running no matter what happens. If you own a business, make sure it's fully protected by contacting Fox Insurance Group. Visit www.grayfoxins.com or call 865-482-0513.
Hello, Wildcat Nation. OBGYN Associates of Oak Ridge is ready to take care of your healthcare needs for women of all ages 13 and above. We specialize in gynecological family planning, wellness care, prenatal care, and pregnancy-related issues. Call our office to schedule an appointment with a member of our team of physicians. Dr. Katie Robertson, Dr. Ryan Williams, Dr. Catherine Hayes, Dr. Anwilyn Sanses, and Dr. Michelle Tate. To round out our team, they are joined by nurse practitioner Regina Dill, Liz Travalka, and physician assistant Angie Atkinson. Please call 865-483-7415 to make an appointment. We offer appointments Monday through Fridays, conveniently located in Physicians Plaza, which is connected to Methodist Medical Center, and we are proud supporters of Oak Ridge Athletics.
This is Todd Fox with Fox Insurance Group, and you're listening to Oak Ridge Football on FM 92.7 WIJB.
For the past 12 years, Oak Ridge native and physical therapist Donnie Sharp has been helping this community using his hands-on approach to physical therapy. Donnie and his staff at East Tennessee Spine and Sport will address your specific needs in a kind and caring manner. Treatment of neck pain, back pain, and many other orthopedic issues are their specialty. If you're hurting, they can help. Call East Tennessee Spine and Sport today at 888-543.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. Alex Myers, Mike Sheehan, David Clary with you as the Wildcats in their all Cardinal jerseys come down all 72 steps as the scene is set and we're just about ready for kickoff. Mike Sheehan, you've worn the Cardinal and gray every year. One of my favorite broadcasts of the year is this opening week game because everything comes alive. It's like spring for a football fan. Everything's blossoming. What goes on in your heart and in your blood right now watching those guys come down the steps?
You get really excited. I mean, I'll never forget my senior year when I graduated and came down the steps for the first time. My heart was so pumping. I had butterflies. But as soon as I hit that field and we started warming up and then the game started, it all went away. It's going to be a really exciting season. This ought to be a great game tonight. You know, the Wildcats now are in a completely different region. We're 2-6A, along with Bearden, Bradley Central, Cleveland, Farragut, Hardin Valley, and Maryville. Great lineup this year.
The Wildcats come bursting through the tunnel. The Wild Band is out there playing Here Comes Halls. And the Wildcats are off to the sideline. We've got about 2 minutes or so before the game kicks off. I want to send it back to David Clary. David, you got a chance to sit down on the Wednesday night show last night with Derek Rang. If folks didn't catch that, what's Coach Rang saying we can expect from this Halls team? I know they've got a lot of experience, and in some ways, they mirror this Wildcat team on offense. Talk about what Coach Rang said.
You know, one thing he said to me a little bit off the air, and I don't know if he wanted me to repeat this, but he told me the top two teams on our schedule might be the first game against Halls and the second game against Maryville, and that would be the last game of the year. So 1 and 10, and they've got so much experience coming back. I think it's going to be a shootout. He thinks there'll be a lot of points scored in this ball game because they have a 3-year starting quarterback just like Oak Ridge does. They've got two receivers who have over 1,000 yards last year, and you know what he says is they're very much a mirror image to the Wildcats. So I would expect a lot of points. Hopefully, Blaine Stansberry and company will be on track. Demillion Porter was hurt most of the preseason and did not practice a whole lot. Hopefully, the running game will be effective too. A young offensive line for the Wildcats, and you know we're ready to kick it off, and I can't wait, guys.
Yeah, I can't wait either, David. And I'll be honest with you, the crowd's better than I thought it would be. It's hot. The game's obviously it's on television. That's no secret. So we really appreciate anybody who listens to us ever, especially on a night when we're not your only option. So obviously we're a little slanted towards Oak Ridge. Nothing wrong with that. But Mike, you heard David talking about the Coach Rang kind of saying the two toughest games of the season could be the first game and the 10th game. Tonight, Halls, and then the 10th game against Maryville. So it's kind of a sandwich deal. You always, I'm sure, would love to kind of warm your team up a little bit, but that's why Oak Ridge went so tough in the preseason. They wanted to be tested. They wanted to be ready. You're going to have a test tonight. Obviously, for Halls, they've got a 3-year returning starting quarterback. Couple of really talented playmakers at the wide receiver position. One of them is a Power 4 guy, according to Coach Rang, a Division I player. This ought to be a high-scoring game and a really fun one for sure.
Definitely so. I tell you, Amari Lethgo is a really good quarterback. Cannot sell that young man short. He's a great passer. He's got some really good receivers, and it's going to be a lot up to their offensive line if they can hold Oak Ridge's defense out of there. I look for our defense to come up big tonight. We're going to have to play really tough football because Halls High School is the elite of the Class 5A. This is not a region game, so that's even if we do absolutely not win this game, it's not going to really kill us as far as the region goes. But for pride and just pure out enjoyment, the Wildcats need to win this game, and we've got the talent to do it, Alex.
Blaine Stansberry, as we look right to left, Blaine Stansberry, Tim Walters, Will Presley, and Jarrell Jemerson trot out to the midfield marker for the coin toss. We're going to take a 30-second timeout. When we come back, we'll have kickoff from Blankenship Field.
to start the game. Halls will receive.
We'll go back to Blankenship Field. Alex Myers, Mike Sheehan, David Clary with you. Brian Bennett producing back at the studio as the Wildcats won the toss, elected to defer to the second half. So Halls, rightly so, says we'll take the ball. So that it'll be the senior Eli Pearson. And it's not often that you talk about kickers when you highlight teams and players. But boy, does Oak Ridge have a good one. I know, Mike, we talked about this last year. You talked about it all preseason and conversations off air we've had. You expect him to have a really, really big year.
Eli Pearson is an elite kicker. He can kick it off and he can punt it. And I look for him to make All-State this year if he played half as well as he did last year. He's just an outstanding athlete, and he can help win ball games for the Wildcats.
Wildcats on
offense. Guys.
So we'll talk about this, I'm sure, more throughout the game. They've just got elite talent and elite playmakers. The line, they lost a little bit after off of last year's Malachi Bonner, a couple of guys that went to UT Martin. But I will say at the skill positions, Malik Howard, returning starter, played as a freshman, started again last year, and starting here tonight as a junior. He's got offers from the likes of Miami of Florida, Alabama, Tennessee. If they play football, basically they want Malik to come to their school. Will Presley's committed to Miami of Ohio. Blaine Stansberry is another guy who's looking to play high-level college football at the quarterback position. And then on defense, you've got guys like Tim Walters. He's another Division I type guy anchoring that defensive line. There's a lot of talent, maybe not a ton of depth, but if Oak Ridge can stay healthy this year, they've got the top-tier talent to compete with anybody. And what a time to do it. As they move up to 6A, they will be competing with the best this state has to offer. So it actually looks like we're going to have a little bit of a change here, as it's not going to be Eli Pearson to kick off. They're going to pooch kick it. We'll get that name in a moment. It's going to be caught at the 25 near the Oak Ridge sideline by number 2, and he's going to be tackled after 2. So maybe Oak Ridge a little bit weary of the return man for Halls. They pooch it up, and a nice job for the coverage team as Halls will take over at their own 29-yard line. It was actually Kyler Sachs, the 5'9", 153-pound junior, who kicked off. So not used to seeing him out there. We expected Eli Pearson, but a little strategy there from Coach Rang, and it worked out. Halls takes over 1st and 10 to start this ball game from their own 29-yard line on the near side hash closest to the press box. Working right to left from Jackson Square northward. First pass complete, and immediately the receivers dropped. Gain of 2 as Brody Rogers, and he's one of those elite weapons for Halls on the outside. A 6'1", 190-pound senior was brought down immediately by Quavez Williams. Mike, short pass, short catch, they're going to give him 3.
And well defended. Quavez was right there on him. As soon as the ball got there, only a 1.5 yard gain on that play.
We're told that Eli's been battling some injuries, so we might see him tonight, we might not. Here's another short pass. It's going to be caught. Boy, what a throw and catch that time. Again, it's Rogers on the catch near the first down, but he didn't quite get it. So it looks like, I guess they're going to keep it. There's a whistle, but there's some confusion. You know, week 1, the players, the broadcasters, as the listeners will find out through the night, we're all getting warmed up. So are the officials. This is their first game, and immediately there's some confusion. They have not moved the down marker. If the play stands, it would be up 3rd and a long 1. Nearly 2, but right now they have not moved the down marker, so we're getting ready to get the call from one of the more veteran officials in our area. No flag, so they're going to pick it up, and they will say it is 3rd down, and it'll be 3rd and a long, just over a yard to go here. Halls will remain in the shotgun formation. They're right towards the middle of the field between the 2 hashes. It's a heavy formation to the right side. All 3 receivers are on that right hash towards the Halls sideline. They're in their all-white, red numerals, red stripes, and red helmets. Quarterback takes the snap, hands it up the middle. They're going to have the first down and more, and he's going to scoot across the 40 up to the 43-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Halls. Amani Bishop makes the tackle.
I tell you, they call that play perfect. Good blocking up front for the Halls Red Devils. And Monty Bishop from his linebacker position had to make the tackle, but not before they moved the ball out to the 43-yard line.
We'll get the starting lineups here momentarily for Oak Ridge as they flip the formation. All three receivers to the left towards the Oak Ridge sideline. Play action pass. They're going to swing it out to the left, and the receiver stumbles, and it's actually a good job that he caught the ball because he loses a yard. If he dropped the ball, it would have been 2nd and 10. Instead, it's going to be 2nd and 11, almost 12 here, as Cooper Faust just lost his footing on the turf. So up front for the Wildcats, number 52, King Sandoval, Tim Walters, Dominic Vasquez. At the linebacker position, it's Caden Stewart, JT Gormley, leading tackler from last year, and Amani Bishop. We'll get the secondary after this play. 2nd and 12. Here comes the handoff right side for Halls. He's going to be blasted. The whole crowd says, ooh, and Quavez Williams says, I'm going to tell you about it.
Great penetration that time by the Wildcats. Ezra Hastings on the run for the Halls Red Devils, and he only got 1 yard, so brings up 3rd and 9.
What a play by Quavez. He came flying in, torpedoing in there, and unfortunately for the running back, he made the mistake of leaving his feet, so he got spun around. 3rd and 9. Big play for the Wildcat defense early on in this first quarter. They got Oak Ridge to jump, so looks like one of the ends for the Wildcats jumped. And that's going to make it, instead of 3rd and 9, it'll be 3rd and 4 after the penalty off the offsides. In the secondary, we haven't got them yet. Really, really talented youngster. Sophomore, number 16, Zayden Williams, starts at corner. He's a two-way player. He's a great wide receiver, too.
That penalty was on Halls, not Oak Ridge.
So they apparently, that right tackle for Halls must have flinched. So it'll actually be 3rd and 14, excuse me. That's safety Wayne Gibson and Tyree Porter and Quavez Williams. Jarrell Jimerson, the other cornerback. 3rd and 14, ball at the 39-yard line for Halls. Trying to cross midfield, and they're going to set up a screen. They got some room, and they're going to get close to that first down. I don't think he got it, but he got close. Their official says he did not. He's 2 yards short, but they are across the midfield line. So they're at the Oak Ridge 49, needing just to get to the 47. This game expected to be a shootout, and there's zero hesitation, Mike. They're going for it right here. 4th and 2. Hard count. Wildcats don't fall for it. You've got to watch the ball, Mike.
Absolutely. Very important right here not to jump offside.
Play clock at 20. Here's the snap. Quarterback looks, easy pitch and catch across the first down to the 44-yard line. We'll see where they give him the forward progress, but that's going to be a first down. They're going to call him down at the 45. So it's 1st and 10 for the Halls Red Devils at the Wildcat 45. 8:51 to go here in this opening quarter. This is the opening drive. The Wildcats won the toss, elected to defer to the second half, so Halls takes it, and they're marching downfield. Their 3rd first down of the ball game. Mike, we're looking towards our left, the north end zone, where they have replaced the previous scoreboard, and boy, this one is a beaut.
It sure is. Digital, really great big numbers. Even I can see it.
So nobody needs glasses to see these. Play action, or read option, excuse me. Quarterback takes it, gets a deep draw, but does get back across the line of scrimmage and rumbles forward for about 4. So the ball will be down to the 41-yard line, and it's 2nd and 6 for this Halls Red Devils team. So they're moving with purpose, but with purpose is how I would say. They're not rushing, but they're not taking their time either. Just a nice controlled tempo from Halls.
They're very deliberate football team, and their play calling has been excellent so far for the Red Devils.
No doubt, probably still in their scripted plays. Here's a play action. Quarterback going to try to get outside the end. He does. He gets towards the sideline, and he's going to cross the first down marker all the way inside the 35 before he's ridden out of bounds by a couple of the Wildcats, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Red Devils at the Wildcat 31. Dominic Vasquez with the tackle for the Wildcats. King Sandoval in there as well. But again, chains just keep on moving, and we've seen a nice mix of run and pass, and for a defensive coordinator like Coach Hawkins to our right up here in the booth, it's hard to game plan for when you can't key in on one thing.
Absolutely. And being the first game, you're not real sure of what's going to go on.
Here's the snap. Fakes the handoff up the middle. A little flip out to the right side, and the wide receiver had about 5 yards to get, but he stepped out of bounds when he planted his foot. So a break for the Wildcats. He only gets about a yard there. It'll bring up 2nd and 9 from the 30-yard line. Nice crowd, nice student section for the Wildcats, as we may have a few more breaks than usual tonight because this is a televised game. But all year long you can watch us here where you're watching us now. Prep Radio on YouTube. Handoff up the left side and a great shoestring tackle by Wayne Gibson in the backfield. Ball carrier is able to kind of lunge forward to get back across the marker. They're going to say he gained about a yard. So it will be 3rd and a long 8 here from the 29-yard line. Hall's needing to get to the Wildcat 21. 7:17 to go here in the opening quarter. Halls has had possession the entire quarter. 7:10 on the game clock, 17 seconds on the play clock. Here's the snap from the shotgun. Quarterback looking right. Wide receiver slips. He's going to be able to catch the ball, but he has to come back up in front of the first down marker to catch it. So a nice play by Jarrell Jimerson and Quavez Williams to stop him from picking up a first down. It will bring up 4th down. Zero hesitation. Hall says we'll keep the offense out, try to convert our second 4th down and 2 of this drive. Shotgun formation, 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Halls, hard snap, they're going to look over. They've got an H-back, almost a hybrid tight end fullback position to the left. I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to follow that guy here. We'll see. Big play for the Wildcat defense. They do just that. They get it. It's going to be close. He is right on the dot. Oak Ridge doesn't think he's got it. Halls thinks they've got it. Who's got it? This is going to be close. They signal Halls gets the first down, so 2 4th down conversions on the opening drive. Impressive start for Halls. The Wildcats have got to be getting tired.
Yeah, they're really huffing and puffing. It's hot out here tonight. We're going to have to really buckle down now. They're right at the 20-yard line, the 21.
Wildcats could use a big play. I'm looking down at Will Presley and some of these offensive guys who are just patiently waiting for their opportunity to get a chance. The defense needs to make a play. Here's a deep shot. Here's an interception by who else? Jarrell Jimerson. We asked for a big play. We got a big play. Interception. Wildcats prevents a touchdown, and just like that, the Wildcats get a break.
Tremendous defense that time, David. He was all over him from the get-go. It was kind of a jump ball. Quavez got in front of it and took the ball. Big interception. Big turnover for the Wildcats.
David Clary, Jarrell Jimerson is the guy you want to avoid. He's one of the more experienced cornerbacks Oak Ridge has, and he is a ball hawk. What a play.
He's probably the most experienced corner that we have, and he is a ball hawk for sure. Big play, a lot of time taken off the clock by the Red Devils, but the Wildcats make a huge play. Now let's see what Blaine Stansbury and company can do. By the way, a hamstring problem for Eli is the reason we won't see him at all tonight.
The Knoxville Orthopedic Clinic of Oak Ridge is the official sports medicine provider for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. For more information or to schedule an appointment, please call their office or visit their website at www.kocortho.com. Thank you, Knoxville Orthopedic Clinic. Your attention, please.
We're going to take a 30-second timeout. When we come back, we'll have more first half action from Blankenship Field.
The Oak Ridge Wildcat football boosters would like to thank Oak Ridge Nissan for helping us pack the ship tonight by providing 100 tickets to Oak Ridge High School students for tonight's game. Thank you, Oak Ridge Nissan, for your continued support for Oak Ridge football.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. We're at the 6:21 mark of the first quarter. Halls got their opening kickoff, received it, drove all the way down, converted not 1 but 2 4th and 2s to keep their drive alive. Immediately after the second one, it was 1st and 10 from the Wildcat 20-yard line. The Wildcat defense was reeling. They threw a fade route to the end zone trying to capitalize, but Jarrell Jimerson, the senior cornerback for the Wildcats, said, "No, sir." He picks the ball off, and that's how we have it. 1st and 10 for Blaine Stansbury and the senior-laden offense. as they get their first touch of the 2025 season. David Clary mentioned in the pregame show that Demillion Porter, the veteran running back, he's a junior, but he started basically all year as a sophomore last year. Really talented guy. He's another guy getting some college looks already. He missed all the preseason, so hopefully he's healthy and ready to go. He should be fresh. Wildcats going to get a quick toss out of the right side. Presley behind the line. He's going to get wrangled down after a gain of about 4. They're going to call him down at the 24-yard line. So it's 2nd and 6 for the Wildcats with 6:07 to go in the opening quarter.
It looked like almost a horse collar tackle, but Will jumps right back up. And Oak Ridge got 4 yards on that pass.
We'll go over the starting lineups here, left to right. The big fellas up front, Jared Bafford, Elijah Young, Caden Chipman, Torrey Holt, and Nate Stevens will get the skill players after this play. 2 receivers right to the short side of the field, 1 left. Fake it to Demillion. Nice play to Malik Howard on the right side. He's got first down yardage and more. He's going to be shoved out of bounds, but not before he eclipses the yards needed to gain at the 30. He gets to the 31, and that's a 10 bank of Oak Ridge. First down for the Wildcats, first of many for this season. What a connection that will be, watching Malik Howard and Blaine Stansberry connect. Speaking of Malik Howard, he is your starting tight end. He wears number 3. At quarterback, number 1, Blaine Stansberry. Running back, number 8, Demillion Porter. Wide receivers, Adam Washington, Jarrell Jimerson, and Will Presley. Again, really heavy senior presence on this Wildcat offense. First carry for Demillion, and he's going to take it past the first down. Carrying, turning, and finally being tackled, but not until he's nearly at midfield. A 16-yard gain for the junior, and it's another 10 bank of Oak Ridge first down up to the 48-yard line. Wildcats playing with purpose and intent now. Ball is spotted. Wildcats are ready to go. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left, and Halls, I believe, wants to think about it. Did Halls call it? They have not signaled. They just blown the whistle. Halls takes a timeout. We'll take one with them. We'll be back in 60 seconds to Blankenship Field.
We would like to encourage you to visit Fox Insurance Group in Oak Ridge for all of your personal or business insurance needs. Thanks to Fox Insurance Group and all of our scoreboard sponsors. Versus 10 Wildcats from the 48.
Handoff up the middle to Porter. He's got some room, makes a man miss, can't make the second, but he's going to be tackled after a gain of 7, and it'll be 2nd and 3 from the Halls Red Devil 45-yard line. First couple runs for Demillion. He looks fresh, he looks good, but the line looks good too.
Yeah, Nate Stevens, Torrey Hope, Caden Shipman, Eli Young, and Jared Bafford are doing a great job of blocking against the Halls Red Devil.
Elijah Young, Jared Bafford, that's a guy at left tackle who has started, that's probably outside of center, the toughest, most important position on the offensive line if you've got a right-handed quarterback. And he's a 3-year starter. And he's another guy with college aspirations. Blaine, clean pocket. Going to try to throw it to Jimerson. It's going to be picked off by Halls of the 30, to the 40, to the 50, 45. Are they going to catch him? Demillion's going to try to give chase. He will bring him down, but not before Halls takes that interception all the way down to the Wildcat 30-yard line. It was Jarrell Chandler, the junior defensive back, 6'3", 200-pounder for Halls. He's a fast player. When he got that, I thought he was going to be gone. And a nice play, nice effort by Demillion to tackle him. I see what Blaine was going for. That was a tight window, and unfortunately, just a really nice play from the Halls defensive back.
Yeah, Chandler just jumped right in front of him. The ball was right there for him, but he got that one step he needed, intercepted it, and ran it all the way back to the Wildcat 30-yard line.
Seeing some former Wildcat assistants. There's an injured player, so we're going to take a timeout. Let's take a 30-second timeout. When we come back, we'll bring it back here to Blankenship Field. We'll go back to Blankenship Field. The score is 0-0. We've had some excitement, but not a lot of points on the board so far. 4:30 to go in the opening quarter. Both teams have had good drives stopped short by interceptions. So Halls, off the turnover from the Wildcats, takes it over 1st and 10 from the Oak Ridge 30. Moving northward from the south end zone, away from Jackson Square. Little screen out. There's going to be a double pass. Nowhere to go for it. Nicely covered by the Wildcats defense. And it's going to be Caden Stewart, the first Wildcat to meet him. Mike, they tried a double pass there, but the Oak Ridge defensive backs were ready for it.
Everybody was covered, and thank goodness Caden Stewart stayed home and made the tackle. Only got about a half a yard on that pass play, Alex.
Nate Stevens playing both sides of the football up front for Oak Ridge. He was in there on the tackle as well. As it's going to be 2nd and 9 from the 29 for Halls. Moving towards the Wildcat end zone. Some pressure. Quarterback's going to throw it. It's going to be picked off. Picked off. Porter. 40, 50, 40. One man to beat. Makes a move at the 30. Cuts inside. Does he have a blocker? He does. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put 6 on the board for number 6. Tyree Porter to the end zone. And Oak Ridge strikes first to the 2025 season.
69-yard reception, ran back for a touchdown. A great start for the Wildcats.
Tyree Porter jumped that route and then used his speed to get all the way down. 69-yard interception return for the senior. Tyree Porter and Jarrell Jimerson, 2 defensive backs with 2 interceptions early on in this ball game, and the Wildcats lead it. They're actually going to call that an 80-yard interception return. With 3:39 to go in the opening quarter, the Wildcats are up 6-0. The extra point's going to be blocked by Halls. You can't return it in high school. So a nice play from the edge rusher, as Eli Pearson will not be playing in this ball game, dealing with a little bit of an injury situation apparently. But it is Kyler Sachs, whose extra point attempt was blocked. But it's 6-0 Wildcats. What an exciting play that was. Wildcats will kick off as we return in 60 seconds.
The Oak Ridge Wildcat Boosters will like to thank Aubrey's for feeding our Wildcats before tonight's game. Thank you, Aubrey, for your continued support of Oak Ridge football.
Field on the heels of the Tyree Porter 80-yard interception return for a touchdown. The Wildcats lead it late in the first quarter, 6-0. Kyler Sachs pooches a kick to the right sideline. It's going to be caught and fielded. The returner runs backwards, and he's not going to escape the grasp of Oak Ridge's Ezra Mahoney, the 5'8 sophomore, making a special play on special teams. 3:31 to go in the opening quarter. Wildcats lead at 6-0, but thanks to the defense, a couple big interceptions early on.
Absolutely. We got one by Quavez Buzz Williams in the end zone and stopped the Hall's drive. And just now, Tyree Porter returned one for 80 yards, interception, touchdown.
You'll hear their names all season long. We want to remind you to be a part of helping us thank our sponsors. If you can shop local, we encourage you to do so. So many businesses that make it possible for us to get on air and pay the fees that we need to do throughout the season in order to bring you Wildcat football all season long. 1st and 10, here's the handoff up the middle. First down yardage for Halls as the ball carrier Ezra Hastings, a senior, 5'10", 185-pound running back, is brought down by Pendergrass, LaDainian Pendergrass, junior defensive back for Oak Ridge, but not before they get a first down. So Halls just moved the ball, but they've had critical mistakes that have stopped their drive short.
Yeah, and good Oak Ridge defense, keep them out of the end zone.
3 receivers to the right, nobody home to the left. Ball's right in between the hashes at the 37-yard line. Fake handoff, it's going to be tipped and falls harmlessly into the ground. It was tipped up, I believe, by Wayne Gibson. It may have even been a lineman. If it was, I think it may have been Dominic Vasquez. Somebody got a paw on it, but it fell to the turf before Porter, who was looking for his second interception, almost got to the ball, couldn't do it. 2nd and 10 as the Halls offense takes a little bit of a breather here, slows things down. They've got a fullback in the backfield, call him an H-back, on the right side. Again, heavy set. He and three guys over on the right side at wide receiver. They almost got a legal formation, but the up back gets on the line of scrimmage. Here's a run to the right, and here's a run for, I don't know, a yard and a half. Nothing close to what they needed, so it brings up 3rd and 7. We'll call it 3rd and 7. It was Stewart on the tackle. Again, Stewart, nice lineage of Wildcats and athletes. His 2 brothers, his father, Phil Stewart, played for the Bengals, played for the University of Tennessee, or his grandfather, excuse me. His father was a Wildcat, member of that 05 state championship run team. Alex Stewart, who played at MTSU, and now he's making his own plays here on Blankenship Field. 3rd and 7, pass complete across the 50-yard line into Wildcat territory. That's a 1st and 10 for Halls. And there's the connection again. Jarrell Chandler, talented junior receiver. You saw him pick the ball off earlier. So Oak Ridge got some two-way players making plays. So does Halls. Zayden Williams pushes him out of bounds. But again, the Halls Red Devils get a 1st and 10. 2:17 to go here in the first quarter. Halls moving towards the north end zone at the 44-yard line of Oak Ridge. I'm going to pause as quarterback Amari Lethgo, senior, 6 foot, 180-pounder. To me, he looks more like 6 foot 210. And here he's going to give the ball off this time. He's going to be stopped in the backfield. Nate Stevens, the first Wildcat to get there. Tim Walters and J.T. Gormley in the backfield as well. Stevens was the first to get him. As a former lineman yourself, how hard is that in this heat? It's hard in general, but in this heat, in this humidity, to play both ways as a big fella.
It's tough. I'll tell you that right now. I hope they really stay hydrated. You know, I've watched both scrimmages. It's pretty warm for them, but nobody had any cramps, so hopefully they're hydrated.
And it's hot, but it's not as hot as it has been the past few weeks, so maybe that'll do the Wildcats well. Blankenship is shaded. The lights have come on, as you mentioned. Here's the 2nd and 13 play. Quarterback's in some trouble. He's going to be able to escape right if he wants to. He's going to tuck it and run. Tries to get past the initial line of scrimmage. He does. Bowls over a couple of Cardinal shirts. A nice run for him that makes this 3rd down more manageable. It was 2nd and 13, and they're going to call it 3rd and 7 here as the ball is at the 42-yard line with 70 ticks left in the first quarter. Call it 3rd and 8. Again, ball at the 42. This is probably 4-down territory. They've already gone for it twice. If you can get this more manageable, Halls likely goes for this on 4th. Wildcats patiently waiting, looking to the Halls sideline as Halls is looking to their sideline, telling them to be patient. Here comes the orders from the coaches. There's 8 seconds on the play clock. I'm not sure they're going to get something in. Are they going to call a timeout? I think they're going to, as there's 3 seconds, 2 seconds. There's a timeout. Halls did not like what they saw. I like what I'm seeing right now from the Wildcats, but they need to stop when we come back. We're going to take a 60-second timeout when we come back to wrap up things from Blankenship Field.
Oak Ridge High School would like to thank the 2025 season ticket sponsor, Oak Ridge Division Center. The Division Center is located at 1143 Oak Ridge Turnpike. Oak Ridge Division Center was founded on the simple premise that if you provide good quality products surrounded by sincere and knowledgeable service, people will feel good about the work you have done. They welcome new patients and invite you to call them for an appointment. We're confident that you'll be glad you did. Oak Ridge Vision Center is a proud sponsor of Wildcat football.
No, he's not.
Third and 8, 142.
Third and 8. Here's a snap. Quarterback's looking right. He's going to be blasted as he throws it, and it's going to force an overthrow. Halls had a man running down the sideline for a touchdown, but he got hit as he threw the ball, and it was incompletion. Thank goodness for the defensive line that time, because Halls had a guy, but Tim Walters and company up front forced the incompletion.
Yeah, Big Tim got a hold of his arm right after he let go of it, but it sailed on him, went over his head.
They're going to say there's a flag. They signaled false start. Oak Ridge Coach Rang says decline, which I didn't think you could decline because that should be a pre-snap penalty, I thought. But I'm not sure. I thought that was a pre-snap penalty. But, hey, Coach Rang, if they're going to let you decline it, I'll say it. Decline it. Good call by Rang, as they're going to bring the punt team out. Halls does have, from what we've been told, a strong punt and kick game. You were telling me before the game.
Yeah, that punter looked strong. During warm-up, he looked real strong.
Here's Jarrell Jimerson.
Deep for the Wildcat.
Jimerson stands with his heels at the 10. Here's the punt. Wildcats in a safe protection. Nobody really dropping back. Jimerson's just going to be able to fair catch it, and he wisely lets it hit at the 1. It bounces into the end zone. Sneaky nice play from Jimerson as he acted like he was going to fair catch that, which I thought was going to be a mistake because he was standing at about the 3-yard line. Instead, at the last moment, he moves out of the way, lets it hit the 1, and goes into the end zone. So the Wildcats will get nice field position, bringing it out to the 20 comparatively. For Blaine Starinsby in this offense, a little bit of a bounce-back drive here, but hey, there's some things to take away from that opening drive.
Absolutely. Only 23 seconds left here in the first quarter. Wildcats up 6-0, and they have the football.
Stansberry guides his troops back out to the far hash near the Halls sideline. Again, ball at the 20-yard line as they try to extend this lead. Only points, all 6 of them, were from an interception, an 80-yard return by Tyree Porter earlier in the first quarter. Stansberry gets the snap, gives the left side to DeMillion. Face mask was grabbed. They didn't tackle him. He finally goes down back near the line of scrimmage. But I'm telling you, there's a face mask. It should be against Halls right here. He's in the backfield, but his face mask was grabbed in the backfield. It looks like that's the signal. No, they're going to call holding. Well, maybe you should have held a little better. If you're going to get called for a holding, you'd like to think that you would at least get some positive yards out of it. Unfortunately, that one goes against the Wildcats. But maybe they'll decline this because it was a loss of 1. They're going to decline it, Mike. What do you think about the decision to decline that versus making it?
He's walking it off. Now he's no.
It would have made it 1st and 20, and they're going to say leave it as 2nd and 11. That's an interesting choice. I understand you want to lose the down, but gaining 9 yards, I think that might have been worth it. We'll see if it pays off for them. As 3 receivers to the right, one of them is the tight end, who's, again, he's a tight end by name, and he's a good blocker, but really he's one of the more dangerous weapons in the pass game this state has at any level. They're going to let the clock wind down, and it'll be 6-0 as we flop sides of the field. As Wildcats lead at 6-0 after 1 quarter of play. We're going to take a 60-second timeout. When we come back, we'll start the second quarter from Blankenship Field.
The Oak Ridge High School Athletic Department and Oak Ridge Football would like to thank our corporate sponsors for their continued support of Oak Ridge Football. Global Solutions, Giving Hope Healthcare, Gray Fox Insurance, Old Ben Franklin Motors, Knoxville Orthopedic Clinics, Oak Ridge Pharmacy, and Ucor. Thank you, corporate sponsors.
Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Welcome back to Blankenship Field. Apologies as we were off air for a few moments there. Mark Case, team statistician for the entire program, he and his wife Shauna Haste, and he does double duty most every week getting us set up, and anytime there's a technical difficulty, he's the one that fixes it. So thank you, Mark Haste, for getting us back on air. To catch you up to speed, it's still 6-0. Wildcats took over after Halls punted for the year's first punt. And after a kind of a failed run attempt that netted a loss of 1, it's 2nd and 11 from the Wildcats' 19-yard line as we get ready to start the second quarter. Wildcats with their backs towards Big Ed's Pizza. Stansberry brings a man in motion left to right, goes in front of his face. That's Jimerson. He's going to look that way. He wants to throw deep. He's got Will Presley. Can he throw it? No. He's going to throw a jump ball to Malik Howard, who can't quite rail it in. Will Presley thought he should have had that ball thrown to him. It looks like he thought he was open, but Blaine decided to go with Malik Howard, and, you know, trying to decide between the program's single-season receiving record holder and Will Presley or a guy with every school in America wants him. That's tough to do. You can't, unfortunately for Blaine, you can't throw 2 balls at one time. You're gonna miss some guys sometimes.
But at 6'4", most of the time Malik's gonna come down with that ball.
So it's 3rd and 11. You don't want to make a mistake in your own territory deep like this. Ball on the 19-yard line. They're going to roll. Stansberry right. Millions blocking for him. Stansberry slings the ball out past the first down marker. He needed to get to the 30. Will Presley catches it at the 31. Great timing. You can tell those are 2 guys that have been playing football for a decade or so together through middle school, through high school, the best of friends, and you see that chemistry on a comeback route like that, as that should be a first down.
Yeah, the ball mark.
That's a terrible spot.
Yeah.
They're going to give it to him, but boy, that's about almost an entire yard short of where I thought he should have been. They do call it, so it's a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down, and 16 seconds into this second quarter, the Wildcats have it 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, that's Washington and Jimerson. Man in motion to the right side as well. This is short side of the field. Here comes a run. Right side, Demillion Porter. What a cutback. Back across the middle of the field. He's got another great block from Presley. Across the midfield, 50, 45, 40. He's going to be pushed out of bounds at the 38-yard line. They'll call it the 40. What a cut. Demillion Porter. The play was designed to go right. He stopped, stutter step, turned his head left, and realized there was nothing but green grass. And boy, what vision on display by Porter.
Absolutely. He cut at exactly the right time. Will Presley was right there to hold a defender off of him, and a big gainer for the Wildcats, knocked down into Hall's Red Devil territory on the 40-yard line. Wildcats leading 6-0 with 11 minutes 37 seconds left in the second quarter.
Two receivers split to either side. Ball at the Hall's 40-yard line. 1st and 10 for Stansberry. Demillion Porter to his side. Stansberry slings one out to Washington at the 35. There's a 5-yard gain, 10-yard gain. Washington across the first down marker, shoved out of bounds at the 23, but there is a flag about 5 yards downfield. So I'm wondering if it could have been a push-off, if it could have been kind of an odd spot on a pass to call holding. So we'll see what this call is, but
I think it's a late hit.
It's an illegal man downfield. Yeah, see, I saw him. They threw it right as Washington caught the ball. So I thought, it was too quickly developing for a hold. But unfortunately, somebody was a little too far downfield up front for the Wildcats, and it negates what would have been the biggest play for Washington of this short season. And so instead of 1st and 10 from the 23, it will be replay first down, 5-yard penalty, 1st and 15 from the 45.
Just one of the linemen released too soon, Allie. He got too far down the field, and they caught him.
Malik Howard, Will Presley split to the right. Jimerson and Washington to the left. Mill Porter standing to Stansberry's left. They bring Howard in to block. Why not? Because Demillion Porter's got the ball. He's got it up past the original line of scrimmage at the 40. They're going to call him down at the 39. So it brings up 2nd and a much more manageable 9 after the penalty started this thing 1st and 15 for the Wildcats. So 2nd and 9 from the 39. In Hall's territory, Wildcats trying to add to this lead. You wonder with Pearson, the potential All-State kicker for the Wildcats, with him missing this game, you wonder how far field goal range is, if they would, having an extra point blocked already, if there is a field goal range, or if they're just basically saying we're going to go for it all night long. Hopefully we don't have to find that out, but something to keep in mind here. 2nd down handoff. It's going to be a reverse. Flea flicker. He's wide open. Stansberry gets it downfield, and it's nearly intercepted. A nice play by the cornerback, Eddie Soto. He threw it to Howard. I think Jimerson was the guy to get it to. It was a cool-looking play. I think it took almost a little too long to develop, though. Halls didn't rush the backfield, and so what looked like a run play, there was really no pressure, and unfortunately the Wildcats get away with one there after almost turning it over. It looked like they had a shot to make something special, but it just didn't quite connect.
It just took too long for that play to develop. And the defensive back was able to recover, and the Wildcats fell incomplete, ball on the 39.
3rd and 9. Screen set up for Mill. Mill's going to be wrestled down in the backfield. Bafford was well extended on the play, just could not quite complete the block, and so Mill gets tackled back at the original line of scrimmage at the 40-yard line. So interesting here. It looks like Rang is not really without, with even any hesitation, he's not going to send the punt unit out. You wonder if perhaps Eli Pearson missing this game comes into play. 4th and actually they're going to call it 11. The Wildcats appear like they're going to go for this with 10:05 on the clock and counting before halftime here in second quarter action. 4th and 11 from the 41-yard line. Starting unit in there for the Wildcats at every position. Washington and Jimerson, the wideouts splitting to the right. 5 seconds on the play clock. Coach Rang's going to have to call timeout. Why not? We'll take one with them. 6-0 your score. Big 4th down and 11 coming up with 9:46 to go in the second quarter. We'll return to Blankenship Field for more Wildcat football in 30 seconds. Welcome back to Blankenship Field. Mike Sheehan, 4th and 11. Coach Rang that likes to keep the offense on the field. Obvious pass situation here. Who are you looking for to make a play?
Malik Howard, Will Presley, Jemerson, any of those three.
I would say, wow, out of the timeout. They called a timeout. I'm not sure why they're saying that the Wildcat lineman can't come in of equipment violation. Calling a timeout should have negated anything. Anyways, the Wildcats have a substitute right tackle for this play. I would look to Howard. Halls sees the formation, and I think they want to think about it. Who called the timeout? Was it officials timeout or Halls? Halls timeout. We'll take a 30-second timeout again and come back to Blankenship Field once again for a 30-second timeout.
I'd like to draw your attention that tonight, Chapter 1078 of Vietnam Veterans of America are here tonight collecting donations for Wreaths Across America. This is a nationwide organization that places wreaths on the gravestones of military veterans all across our nation at our state and national cemeteries. In our area, there are over 20,000 gravestones. This is a rivalry football night for us to collect donations for the placing of wreaths in December. Our Vietnam Veterans Chapter members are located in the entrances of the stadium to receive your kind and generous donations. We would love for you to make a generous donation to make sure every veteran will have a wreath placed on their stone to thank them for their service, that we would accept any amount you might be willing to give. Our chapter would like to especially thank Mark Packer and his crew for allowing us to be at every rivalry football game this year, and also for tonight's game.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. Alex Myers, Mike Sheehan in the booth with you, along with David Clary, the longtime play-by-play man who's letting some other people get a little bit of work. We appreciate him and all the stuff he's done behind the scenes to make this broadcast happen as well. Brian Bennett back at the station producing this one. Blaine Stansbury, 4th and 11. He's going to fire one to Will Presley, who was held, and that's a first down. The ball, I don't think, was really catchable, but because the Halls player had his hands around Will threw his arms up saying, I can't get out of my break, and Oak Ridge says that's why it was uncatchable. They're going to get a break here. Halls with the pass interference. It was 4th and 11. If it's interference, it will be 15, which would be an automatic first down. Let's see what the call is. Pass interference, so it will be a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge first down for the Wildcats, and what a just tremendously awful break for the Red Devils. Just a mistake you can't afford to happen, Mike.
Well, he was guilty as charged. He definitely had his arms around him. The official was standing right there next to him and saw it. And that is a big break for the Wildcats. Now they've got new life on the 26-yard line of the Halls Red Devil.
3 receivers to the right. 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. Ball on the 26-yard line of Halls. Quick throw out to Jemerson. Screen set up. He's got a little bit of room. He's going to get past the 25, get past the 20, down to the 17. He's going to be shoved out of bounds. They'll call him out at the 19. Right near that marker. And let's see where they mark him. They're going to say he's about 3 yards shy of the first down, so it will be 2nd and 3 from the Halls 19. Wildcats up 6-0 with 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the second quarter. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Demillion Porter itching, wanting that ball, I'm sure, here on 2nd and 3. It's been a few plays since he's touched the rock. Give it to him here up the middle. Easily first down. 10, 5, into the end zone. Number 8 for 6. Demillion Porter, easy money into the end zone. Touchdown Wildcats, and they lead it 12-0 here in the second quarter.
Just a great execution by the Wildcats that time. Blaine Stansbury handed the ball off. Perfect timing, great blocking up front. The Wildcats go up 12-0 with 9:27 left here in the second quarter.
So the Wildcats do elect to send Sachs back out for another attempt after his first one was blocked. Washington will hold. It's a good hold, good snap. It's blocked again. Washington tries to run with it, but play is stopped. We're going to take a 60-second timeout. When we come back, it's 12-0 Wildcats here in the second quarter. Welcome back to Blankenship Field. David Clary, we'll go to you for your thoughts after what's been, I guess it's kind of an unexpected but expected start to this game. It's not been how you would have scripted, but regardless, the Wildcats up 12-0.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Wildcats, the way I would have looked at it would be, we'd see a lot of yards in the passing game, but it's been the running game to me, and Porter's gotten some really big yards.
David Clary,
and
as we go to
3 interceptions, I do believe, in the game by 2 3-year quarterbacks. And one thing I've noticed about Oak Ridge, when Blaine is looking, he is trying to force the ball into Malik a little bit too much. I think he needs to look off to another receiver. I noticed that a little bit in the preseason, but not exactly the shootout we expected, but right now the results are good. With Eli's hamstring issue, Mr. Sachs has had a little trouble getting those kicks. I was kind of surprised they didn't go for 2 on that last touchdown, but they know a lot more than I do. But good start for the Wildcats. Still a lot of football to be played here in the first half, and the Wildcats currently on top 12-0.
Number 27, Tyler Sachs in the kickoff. Number 0, Brody Rogers, and number 5, Tyler Stanley.
As Sachs boots this one down to about the 28, it's picked up, fielded, and the tackle's going to be made at the 34. Wildcats come out of the scrum with the ball, but they say, the officials being they, say that his knee was down. That's probably the right call. Coach Rang has to wrangle in a couple of Wildcats who were a little bit frustrated that they didn't give him the ball back. But Halls starts this possession now, down 2 possessions, 12-0, Oak Ridge in the lead with 9:19 to play in the second quarter. As the sun sets here behind our backs towards the west side of the Secret City, as the Appalachian building is turning orange. It's a beautiful night here at Blankenship Field and Jack Armstrong Stadium, and an even more beautiful night because the Wildcats are on top. First down run up the middle, gets back to the line of scrimmage. A nice tackle in the backfield by Tim Walters, as well as Dominic Vasquez. That Dominic Vasquez is a guy, as a sophomore, we called his name from time to time last year, but this year obviously his role has expanded. That's probably the 4th or 5th time we've called his name already.
Yeah, he's really been great up front for the Wildcats. Very short game that time, only 1 yard on that carry.
2 receivers left, 1 to the right for Halls. Handoff up the middle once again, a little more room to work with, but a J.T. Gormley shoestring tackle turns what would have been a 7 or 8 yard gain up near the first down marker into only a 4 yard gain. So it's 3rd and 5. A nice play by Gormley, who it just seems like Oak Ridge has had a run on great middle linebackers over the last decade or so. There's always been great middle linebackers, but it seems like just year after year after year, really since Gaddis has come back, where it's just consistently an anchor at that middle linebacker position. 3rd and 5 with 8:12 to go in the second quarter. Hall's down 12-0. Going to take a deep shot. The ball's out. The ball's out. He's hitting the backfield. The ball's out. Who comes up with it? I think Halls has it. As the saying goes, Halls has it. It's 4th down, but I'll tell you what else Halls has. They've got the punt unit coming on the field, Mike. A strip sack recovered by Halls, but it's a huge loss. Back to the 30-yard line. It brings up 4th and 13. And Halls is going to have to punt this ball away already.
We'd like to encourage you to check out the new Oak Ridge High School Athletics Media Guide. Please scan the QR code from the posters placed around the field tonight. All sports information is included.
Thank you for those letting us know we're back on. We're having some technical, it's not on our end. It's just an internet issue here in the press box. We're struggling, but I think we're back on. I think we found a fix. 2-point conversion attempt. Rolls right. Blaine Stanberry got a guy wide open. That's easy money into the hands of Malik Howard for 2. And the Wildcats lead it 20-0 with 6:14 to go in this second quarter. Oak Ridge on top. We'll take a 60-second timeout when we come back to Blankenship Field. It'll be kickoff as Halls looks to respond. Number 27, Kyler Sachs, in to kick off for the Wildcats. D for the Red Devils, number 0, Brody Rogers, and number 5, Michaelis Daniels. Pooch kick from Sachs is going to be fielded at the 28 and returned to the 36. Gormley on the tackle. How many times have we said that already here tonight? It's really weird seeing Sachs wearing number 27 when for 4 straight years we saw a young man named Dallas Frint wear that uniform, and he wore it well. What a great player Dallas Frint was, and for the Wildcats, not seeing him on this field for the first time in 4 years feels odd, doesn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it does, but Frint was a great player and a lot of enthusiastic there, and JT's filling in very well.
3-man front for the Wildcat defense as Hall's going to hand off up the middle. Little stutter step, and you can't stutter step when you got those guys coming at you. Caden Stewart, Tim Walters, and who's that other guy down there? That would be Nate Stevens. I think Stevens got there to begin with, and then big Tajay Walters. We call him Tim Walters. And again, Caden Stewart at an outside linebacker position. Those two came in and made sure he didn't escape. 5:36 to go here in the second quarter. Halls really kind of reeling now. 20-0 to score. Wildcats on top. This looks, if you look at the scoreboard, Mike, like a dominating performance. It's not been. Halls has just made more mistakes. Quarterback slides down in the backfield. That will go down as a sack. The nearest Wildcat, I'm sure he'll want credit for that, is Dominic Vasquez. Again, the junior making a play. But, you know, the scoreboard doesn't tell the whole story. Both teams have been a little bit sloppy, which you expect in this opening week. But it looks like a blowout, but it doesn't feel like that, does it?
No, it certainly doesn't. This is a very good Halls team. They're just, Oak Ridge is playing great pass defense right now with 3 interceptions that have been very costly for the Red Devils.
Not just interceptions, but they've turned those into points. 2 of them returned for 6. 3rd and a mile. Quarterback running, scrambling for his life. Tim Walters just blasts him. He gets the throw off to the running back, who's going to get, I don't know, 3. He needed about 50. Not literally, but he got nowhere near the first down marker. He gained 3, and he needed about 13. So what a play, what a sequence. And unfortunately for the Wildcats, Tim Walters is shaken up. 4th down is upcoming, but Tim Walters, hopefully this is just a cramp. Brian Leffler out there, the trainer for the Wildcats, former prep radio crew member himself, is out there tending to him. So we'll take a 60-second timeout. When we come back, it should be 4th and 13 for the Halls Red Devils.
Your attention, please. Relena Allen, please report to the bottom of the steps at the gate.
Welcome back to Blankenship. Phil, Tim Walters hobbles off. Hopefully he'll be okay. Again, as we welcome you back. Oak Ridge High School leading 20-0 over Halls. Halls has it 1st and 10 from their own 48-yard line. I'm not sure how they have it 1st and 10, Mike. There must have been a penalty. And they're not going to have it 1st and 10 very long because there's a sack. Bishop, Monte Bishop into the backfield, and he gets a big sack. It was 1st and 10, and now it's 2nd and 20.
Yeah, that was just a tremendous tackle by Bishop that time. He really came in there strong. Quarterback seemed like he fumbled the ball a little bit. By the time he got control of it, he was right on top of him, and they lost 10 yards on that play.
Mari Lefko, the quarterback, he looks like a pretty athletic guy. We've seen him scramble around, but he's just not really looked comfortable back there. Here's a nice play, a handoff up the middle. The Halls running back, boy, he had some pop in that step. And here's going to be a flag. There's 2 guys going back and forth. They could call this on either one. To me, this is just a, hey, guys, keep moving. There was nothing egregious. I don't think that was penalty worthy, but Mike Sheehan, I love you, buddy. You're a handsome fella, but the better looking of the Sheehan siblings has graced us with her presence in the booth as one of the biggest Wildcat fans we know, is she not?
Absolutely. Becky Hayes, my wonderful sister.
Becky and Ronnie have done so much through the years for the Wildcat football players, and a lot of people kind of never know what they've done, but maybe they've seen some shirts. They love giving those shirts to players. So I blasted the officials, but actually I think they got this right. They called offsetting. So really, it's all for nothing. It's a warning, which I think is appropriate because neither side really did anything crazy. So it will bring up a 3rd and 7 from the 49-yard line. Hall's shown a propensity to go for it on 4th if they can get this down, you know, to 4th and 2 or 3, but it's 3rd and 7. They need to make some progress here. 49-yard line sends the ball. It's going to be snapped. Lethgate going to run over a defender, but then he's going to be immediately tackled. He knocked a Wildcat helmet off, so that Wildcat will have to come off, but Caden Stewart, rocking the cowboy collar tonight, helped bring him down, and he does what he needed to do. He makes it a 4th and manageable, so Halls will keep the offense out on the field. It goes from 3rd and 7 to 4th and 4. Well, they're bringing the... Are they bringing the punt unit out? Wow, Mike. Kind of surprised they're going for this here. It feels like Halls kind of needs something here before halftime, especially with having to kick off to Oak Ridge to start the second, but they're going to play conservative and punt this.
Yeah, and they've run off about 30 seconds already. There's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds left here in the first half.
If you're going to punt this, that's the wise thing to do here. The play clock is stopped. Now it's reset. If I'm Halls, I don't think they realize it. If I'm Halls, I'd let it tick down more. They don't. Kick bounces. The punt bounces. It's nearly blocked by Howard. It's a beautiful punt. It's going to bring Jimerson back, fielding it at the 1. Goes into his own end zone, now to the 5, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. 25 to the 27 before he's wrestled down with 1:56 to go. Wildcats leading 20-0, trying to extend this lead before halftime. Jimerson, you hold your breath sometimes because he is confident in his abilities, but for good reason.
That was a really strong run that time. He got outside. I thought he was going to tackle him, but he eluded that first tackler, and once he got outside, he almost gained 20-some-odd yards and burned off a bunch of clock. Now with 1 minute and 56 seconds left here in the first half, Wildcats up 20-0.
As you said, just under 2 minutes to go. Wildcats have 1 timeout left. But plenty of time with the pace of this offense. Another thing that all these seniors does, this could be a double pass. It is. Jimerson gets the ball. The lefty throws it. It's going to be short. Will Presley tries to come back, and he's going to be interfered with. So Will Presley gives the cornerback who got the pass interference call, he gives him a tap on the head like, hey, not much you can do about that. Jimerson underthrew him, but because it was so underthrown, the defender was really out of position, didn't intend on it, but he was just kind of standing there, but got in Will's way, and it's an unintentional pass interference play, a break for the Wildcats.
Yeah, that was a big break for the Wildcats. You know, that's frustrating for the Halls Red Devils for that to happen to them. And now the Wildcats are going to be 15 yards closer to the goal line with plenty of time left for Blaine Stansberry to throw a bomb to somebody.
And you're right, they don't even really need to throw a bomb. They can still run the ball, throw a little short stuff. They got 1 minute 48 seconds to go with the ball at their own 42-yard line. On the far hash nearest the Halls sidelines, up 20-0, Stansberry. Quick throw out to Washington. He fields it after a gain of 5, turns it upfield for a gain of 7. And it'll be 2nd and 3 after Adam Washington catches that ball. I failed to mention off that penalty, it wasn't just a first down, Mike. It was a 10 of Oak Ridge.
First down.
Thank you to David Clary. Thank you to Tin Bank, our friends there. Our friends, we'll go through the sponsor list. You've heard them all night long. You'll hear them all season long. Our sponsors, without them, we just simply don't get on the air. Stansberry with 2 to the left, 1 to the right. He's going to roll left. The million out there blocking ahead. Gets a nice block from Malik Howard. He's going to throw a high pass. Caught. Juggling catch on the sideline by Will Presley. I don't know how he concentrated because they had a defender running in front of him. His heels were towing the side of the out-of-bounds line. And unfortunately, there's 2 problems in the backfield. Most importantly, there's a Wildcat lineman shaken up. There's also a flag back there. He's tapping his helmet, the lineman. Thankfully, it looks like he's all right, but he's saying, I need to come out for a second.
I think he got his bell right.
Let's see what the penalty is. It's against the Wildcats, and it's going to be holding. So negate that first down. It will be replay 2nd down. but instead of 2nd and 3 as it was from the 49, it will be 2nd and 13 from the 38-yard line, 39-yard line, we'll call it. So a 10-yard penalty moves back the Wildcats. Again, 2nd and 13. Clock starts. There's 90 seconds to go. It's rolling. Wildcats up. They're rolling 20-0 here, and the Wildcats use their last timeout. Confusion, audible confusion up here in the press box, Mike. We're going to take a 30-second timeout and come back to catch the end of this second quarter.
Timeout, Oak Ridge. We'd like to thank Oak Ridge Pharmacy for their support of Oak Ridge High School athletics. Oak Ridge Pharmacy is a local pharmacy dedicated to your family play. Located at 854 Main Street West, you can purchase general admission tickets for home games each week, Tuesday through Friday, from 10 a.m.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. Alex Myers, Mike Sheehan, David Clary with us. David, quickly, how aggressive do you think Oak Ridge is going to be here? 2nd and 13, but only 1 minute and 34 to go.
And 13.
So we're back live here. Lane Stansberry, 2nd and 13, 1.5 minutes to go. Stansberry all day to throw. He's going to find Will Presley 5 yards downfield. He makes it 10 yards downfield. Makes 2 defenders miss. Nearly fumbles the ball, but he reaches the ball across. It should be a first down. I'm not sure they'll give it to him. It's close. It's important because if they call it a first down, the clock should stop. The clock's running. They haven't made a call. It's clearly a first down. They're not signaling. The clock should be stopped. Finally, the clock is not stopped, but they are... Wow. It should be a first down. The ball's sitting across the line. There's a first down and more. Demillion Porter across the 35, down to the 34, to the 33. That's a first down. Now the clock will stop with 58 seconds to go. Wildcats marching down the field. 1st and 10, and a clear, blatant fake injury across the field. You hate to say that at a high school football game, but there's a guy right beside Hall's sideline who just looks inside and then just falls. So maybe I'm wrong. Let's say he's, unfortunately he's hurt. Hopefully he's okay. We're going to take a 30-second timeout, and we'll be back after this. Back here at Blankenship Field. And there's 58 seconds left to go before halftime. Wildcats have it up 20-0 with the ball. Again on the Halls 33. Into the game for the first time tonight, I see at wideout Amarian Willis, the 5'9", 160-pound athletic sophomore at the slot position. He's to the right side. Blaine gets the snap and rolls to the left. He's got Howard on the left side, and he will connect with him. They're going to say he's out of bounds. He caught it, but he was not able to get the toe drag down. So no harm, no foul there. Only a few seconds tick off as there's 41 seconds now, but the clock is stopped. 2nd and 10 from the Halls 33. Wildcats, here's what's tough. In a normal game with the healthy Eli Pearson, you're thinking, hey, if you throw it 2 more times incomplete, you run the field goal unit out there. But right now, Mike, as we've seen with Hall's ability to block kicks, I think it's probably a situation where it's in zone or bust.
Absolutely. They're going to go for the 6, no doubt in my mind.
Two receivers to either side. Stansbury looks deep. He's got Howard. He's forcing it, and it's nearly picked off. Just a little bit too high, too far out in front of Howard. And I agree with David Clary. I agree with David Clary earlier, who said it feels like they're kind of forcing the issue with Howard, and I understand why. If I was out there, I'd be throwing it to him too, but it does appear that Halls has keyed in on him. So perhaps getting the balls spread out a little bit more might open things up for Malik.
Well, they've really covered Will Presley extremely well tonight. Will hadn't been able to really break free like he normally does, but it's still early. It's not even halftime yet.
Hall's team is definitely more athletic on the outside than they were the last few times I've seen these Hall's teams play. Here's a nice screen set up to Demillion Porter. He's going to run a guy over, make a couple guys miss, gets it down to the 25-yard line, and Porter is cramping, so the clock will stop. Oak Ridge doesn't have a timeout, so now the clock's going to stop at 2nd and 2. I don't want to miss anything. David's saying go to break. We'll go to break. Just a 30-second timeout, Brian, and we'll be right back to end this half. Still down is Demillion Porter. Hopefully he's going to be okay. It's Brian Leffler and Bam out there, Coach Bam, working with him. And Mike, let's kind of regroup here. We've got 22 seconds to go. It's 4th down and 3. The kicking game is not an option right now for Coach Rang, as he's got the offense on the field. So obviously time's ticking. You've got no timeouts left. But if you can get the 3, you could hurry up to the line, spike it, and you got a chance for a couple more plays, maybe a jump ball shot. I don't think you have to go to the end zone right here. What would you do?
I would go to the end zone. With it being 4th down, ball's on the 26, with the receivers he's got, I'm going deep, baby.
3 receivers to the right, 1 lone to the left. That's Washington. He's going right all the way. Short little route to Jimerson. No, he's going to try a deep route to Howard. Did he get one down? He did, and he's out of bounds. Howard and his defender run into the iron fence, and boy, you hate to see that. Malik Howard is down, and his momentum took him into that wrought iron fence on the far side. So 2 plays in a row, Wildcats are down. We're going to take a 60-second timeout. Hopefully Malik will be able to get up quickly. Well, actually, let's keep it because it looks like he is okay. He's limping a little bit, but he's popped up, so hopefully he's okay. And I'm not sure we're going to take a timeout. The officials have it signaled, but thankfully Malik Howard, Mike, looks like he's okay.
Yeah, he may be banged up a little bit. He is limping, but he is up and under his own power. Hopefully he can walk this injury off. I hope so.
He might be the only guy that, I'd hate to be that fence if that freight train comes rolling into him, but only problem with that fence, it's beautiful, but Mike, it doesn't give. So hopefully, again, it looks like he's all right, but boy, that's a scary sight there. 2 plays in a row, Wildcats gone down, but the good news is after the result of that play, it was enough for a 1st down. So it's a 10 Bank of Oak Ridge 1st down as both teams come back on the field with 8 seconds left. No timeouts for the Wildcats. So this has to be out of bounds or incomplete or into the end zone. You can't throw short unless he's out of bounds. My thought is this will be 1 play and a jump ball for Presley. Presley split to the right, 2 receivers, Jimerson and Washington to the left. Blaine all day to throw. He's looking, he's going to tuck it. He's got to get out of bounds. 4-3, wise Pedsy play by the senior. He was out of bounds. There should be 1 second on the clock. The clock operator did not stop it, but there should be at least, there's a second and a half on the clock. Halls is walking wisely onto the field like they're going to halftime. There's a second left on the clock. It wasn't close. It wasn't close. There was a second and a half on the clock. Coach Rang is bringing his guys to the sideline. I think he's right. He's saying, let's fight for this. This should give us a play. If I was Coach Rang, I'd just stay on the field. There was easily a second. It was a second and a half. He stepped out of bounds. I had enough time to look up after his foot hit. There was still 1 second. Then it ran off. Then the audible buzzer went off. It wasn't close. The Wildcats, Blaine Stansberry made the right play. He got out of bounds, saw the clock, got out of bounds in time, and it should be 1 play left with 1 second left. The Wildcats having a shot from 12 yards out to throw into the end zone to extend their lead. A home field advantage? Not tonight at Blankenship Field, apparently. It's 20-0 Wildcats after, quite frankly, the Wildcats get hosed at the end of the first half. We'll take a break. In 3 minutes, we'll come back with first half stats, the scoring recap, and thoughts from David Clary and our other panelists when we return after this 3-minute timeout.
Marching band will perform their 2025 show, Dream, Explore, Discover, by John Mix and Ian Green. The band is under the direction of Eric Baumgartner, Brittany Christie, and Tiffany Kimbrough, with assistance from Anna Hutchinson, Austin Taylor, and Katie Hoppy. The staff includes Alex Luttrell, Ella Kimbrough, Jill Wright, Madeline Bowman, Matt Myers, Olivia DeMarcus, Reagan Bride, and Stephanie Hensley. The band captain is Carly Edders. The woodwind captain is Ella Wolf. Brass captain is Abby Satterfield. Color guard captains are Ella Miller and Katie Evans. The drum captains are Abby DeMarc and Joe Nicholas Atkins. And the drum majors are Will Tyson, David Terry, and Will Palmer. Major lift are Audrey Goodwin and Ella Parker, and soloists are Abby Satterfield on trumpet and guard soloist Ella Miller. The Hall's High Band is consistent Tennessee Bandmaster Sweepstakes Award recipient for superior performances in marching band and symphonic band. The directors would like to thank the band members, band parents, school, and community for their support this year. Would you please welcome the Halls High School Marching Band. We have a correction to make. Usually the visiting band goes first, but I got ahead of myself. Would you please welcome the Oak Ridge High School Marching Band, conducted by drum majors Cynthia Marcus Brock and Lila Diaz. They're performing the first two movements of their 2025 competitive show, Playbill, a tribute to the music of the stage. This show features music from Broadway productions Les Miserables, Phantom of the Opera, Jesus Christ Superstar. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Alrighty, I'm back connected. About 20 seconds and we'll be ready. Okay, bye.
You're listening to Wildcat.
Welcome back as we are at halftime here at Blankenship Field. Alex Myers, Mike Sheehan, David Clary with you tonight as you hear the tones of the Wild Band. And it's their first halftime show. So before we go over the scoring summary, I'll take about 10 seconds to salute the Wild Band. They've worked hard all summer to let you all listen to the Wild Band. Mike, they work so hard, and really, without them, Blankenship Field doesn't feel like a Friday night. You've got the scoring recap. Good news for the Wildcats as we go to you.
Thank you, Alec. First away to start the game off, the Halls Red Devils drove the ball all the way down the field to about the 20-yard line, right knocking on the end zone. And they, with 6:21 left in the first quarter, Quavez Williams intercepted the pass in the end zone. Excuse me. And the Wildcats went up 6-0. Kyler Sykes' extra point was blocked, and the Wildcats led 6-0. Then, with 9 minutes and 27 seconds left in the second quarter, Tyree Porter ran one in from 19 yards out after a long drive by the Wildcats. Kyler Sachs' kick was blocked, and the Wildcats led 12-0. Then, with 6:14 left in the second quarter, Jarrell Jemerson returned another interception into the end zone for the Wildcats from 28 yards out, and the Wildcats went up 18-0. This time the Wildcats went for two. Malik Howard snuck off into the left corner of the end zone and for a two-point conversion, and at halftime the Wildcats lead the Halls Red Devils 20-0. They've scored 20 unanswered points to take the lead in the first half. Now back to Alec Myers.
Thank you very much, David Clary. I know that I'm getting ready to come to you, but I know you want to thank our sponsors, so we're going to take a quick 2-minute break. When we come back, we got 13 minutes in halftime, so we'll take a 3-minute break. When we come back, David, I'll get your thoughts on what we've seen in the first half of this ball game.
high school marching band.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. David Clary, we toss it to you. You've seen a lot of football. You've seen a lot of opening nights, but they're all unique. What are your thoughts on what we've seen tonight here through 2 quarters with Oak Ridge leading 20-0 over Halls?
You know what I expected? I said this early on that I thought it'd be a shootout. I thought that with Halls' experience on their offensive side with Lethgo, a 3-year starter, and their receivers, but the Oak Ridge defense has come to play. After that first drive, the Wildcats have just totally dominated the line of scrimmage. Lethgo's really had some trouble, kind of figuring out the Oak Ridge defense. I mean, he has struggled against the Wildcats. He can't decide when to run, when to pass, and some great plays defensively by Jarrell Jemerson. I thought coming into the season, the secondary, that was the question mark. But you mentioned this earlier in the broadcast. Jarrell Jemerson, he has been, kind of a steady guy, a starter last year before he got hurt in that Farragut game, but he has 2 interceptions. Tyree Porter with a pick 6 as well. So, and with a lot of experience, Lethgo has struggled. 3 interceptions in the game. Wildcat offense has had its moments, but they don't look like they're, it's the first game, and they've had 2 scrimmages. They haven't scrimmaged in 2 weeks, honestly. But the Wildcat offense the running game has been pretty solid. Blaine has had time, and that is a key. I didn't think early on, he was getting a lot of time, but here in the second quarter, he was able to kind of pick and choose, and a couple plays didn't go their way. But you were absolutely right about the call. There should have been time on the clock. The official, and you said the home field advantage is not in Oak Ridge's favor. The officials keep the clock down on the field, so let's not blame Pearl McKeever for the clock issue. But I thought it was a good half, especially defensively for the Wildcats, and they lead it 20-0 in what has been a very long first half of basketball or from football. Let's take a quick break here. We'll send it back to Brian Bennett. We're also joined tonight, obviously, by Alex Myers and Mike Sheehan. Mark and Shauna Hayes about ready to do our stats. We've got Preston Fetters. We got David Urbanowitz, along with Connor Sharp, Matthew Charles, and Grayson Brown, our camera guys down on the field. Take a break. Let's send it back to Brian Bennett, back at the studios of FM 92.7. It's 20-0 Oak Ridge. My name is David Clary, and we'll be back with Mark and Shauna's stats in a moment.
You can never cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore.
Blankenship Field, where Oak Ridge leads Halls by a score of 20-0. Looking at the statistics for Oak Ridge at the half, Oak Ridge led on the ground by DeMillion Porter. He has 97 yards on 7 carries. That's an average of 13.9 yards per carry. His long tonight is 30 yards. Blaine Stansbury also has a carry for the Wildcats. It's for 3 yards. So as a team, the Wildcats have carried the ball 8 times for exactly 100 yards. Through the air, quarterback for the Wildcats, Blaine Stansbury. He's 10 of 17 for 73 yards. He does have 2 interceptions. His long tonight is 13 yards. Receiving for the Wildcats, Will Presley has 3 receptions for 28 yards. Malik Howard, 2 receptions for 16 yards. Adam Washington has a 7-yard reception. So does Jarrell Jimerson. And DeMillion Porter has 3 receptions for 5 yards. So as a team, the Wildcats on the ground, they have 100 yards on 8 carries. That's an average of 12.5 yards per carry. Through the air, they have 10 receptions on 17 attempts for 63 yards. So their total offense tonight is 163 yards. They have 9 first downs in the first half. They've been penalized 1 time for 5 yards. Now looking at Halls, they're led on the ground by Amari Lefko. He has 14 yards on 6 carries. Ezra Hastings also with 14 yards on 10 carries. So Halls on the ground has 16 carries, totaling 28 yards. Through the air, Halls 9 of 14 for 32 yards. That's Amari Lefko, their quarterback. He has 3 interceptions on the night. I believe 2 of them have been returned for touchdowns. Receiving for the Red Devils, they're led by Brody Rogers. He has 15 yards on 3 receptions. Ezra Hastings, 14 yards on 3 receptions. Gabe Holmes has a 4-yard reception. And Cooper Faust has 2 receptions, netting -1 yard. So as a team, Hall's rushing yards, they have 28, receiving yards 32 for a total offense of 60 yards. They have 5 first downs, penalized 4 times for 45 yards. Again, this is Marquez, where at the half, Oak Ridge leads by a score of 20-0, and we'll be back after this 2-minute timeout.
This is a nationwide organization that places wreaths on the gravestones of military veterans all across our nation at our state and national cemeteries. In our area, there are over 20,000 gravestones, and this is a rivalry football night for us to collect donations for the placing of wreaths in December. Our Vietnam Veterans chapter members are located in the entrances of the stadium to receive your kind and generous donations. We would love for you to make a generous donation to make sure every veteran will have a wreath placed on their stone to thank them for their service, but we will accept any amount you might be willing to give. Our chapter would like to especially thank Mark Packer and his crew for allowing us to be in every rivalry football game this year and also for tonight's game. Thank you in advance for your donations and know that all veteran families appreciate the special gift to them.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. Alex Myers, Mike Sheehan with you. Mike, appreciate the scoring wrap up. David Clary's in here with us while we got a minute or two before the game resumes. As those keeping score year to year, we have added 3 minutes to the score clock. So the streak continues. Viva the streak. Mike, an up and down first half, and you would expect that in week one. Nobody's ever firing on all cylinders. However, one thing that I think is very rare, and I noticed when Mark Case was going over the stats, the Wildcats for week one have only been penalized one time, and it was for 5 yards. So a very clean first half from a penalty standpoint. And then you look at the defense, how well they have played, capitalizing on mistakes, really picking up this offense when maybe they haven't been firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, this has been one of the cleanest games I've seen either team play for that matter. It's been a really tightly contested game. If it wasn't for those interceptions, the Wildcats would be in pretty big trouble. Well, you know, we've moved the ball pretty good up and down the field, but we just can't seem to put it in the end zone. Hopefully here in the second half we'll settle down offensively and score some on the offensive side. But, boy, give Quazvez Williams and Jarrell Jimerson and Tyree Porter credit for the great plays they've made tonight to put the Wildcats on the scoreboard and put us into a 20-0 lead here against a very good Halls High School Red Devils. So it's going to be I knew it was going to be an interesting game, and I'm surprised it's mostly defense.
Yeah, David, you talked to Coach Ring earlier this week, and he bragged about and really talked about how many returning playmakers this Halls team had on offense, and you've seen flashes of it, but they've never really been able to get on track. And again, a large part of that due to Oak Ridge's defense. But David, what are your thoughts? And do you think Halls can kind of make a comeback of this, or is it more of the same?
You know, I've seen Amari Lethgo play quarterback. I've watched him on TV. He's the catcher on their baseball team as well. Very athletic guy. He just looks very confused to me. He looks very, very confused when he is looking at our defense. You got to credit Oak Ridge's defensive staff led by David Hawkins. I think they can make a comeback, but you know the Wildcats are going to get the ball first. I think one of the key things, and you really haven't mentioned it that much. You talked about it. You know, one of our biggest weapons, Eli Pearson, went down with a hamstring issue before. And, you know, the 2 blocked extra points have made it, still, they only up 20-0. So, and we haven't been able to get the punt. Eli's the punter too. So that's a big factor here in the second half. The Wildcats, what they need to do here in the second half, though, is just take this kickoff, drive it down the field, and put this game away.
I think that's exactly right. And myself, Mike, I know the Wildcat Nation would love to see that happen. Eli is dressed out for those watching or listening on radio. Maybe you can't see. He's wearing number 15 as he usually does. He is dressed out. At this point, I wouldn't expect him. I don't think anyone expects him, but he is dressed out. But the Wildcats will get the ball first here. Now, Halls, a team that's showed an ability to be kind of a pattern of aggression offensively, going for it. You know, perhaps if you're Oak Ridge, I think you're looking at your hands team going, hey, they're probably not going to onside it. They're sending Jarrell Jimerson and Will Presley back deep to receive. But be aware, this is a team that needs a spark. Will they be able to get one here? Will they try something tricky? We'll see what they do. Kicker approaches, and he's booting it high. Short kick's going to go out of bounds. Landed at the 23 out of bounds, but they're going to say it was actually up towards the 28 when it actually went out. So Oak Ridge will accept this penalty, and they will have very good starting field position to start this. So if you look at where Oak Ridge is going to start, you almost might as well have tried an onside there because Oak Ridge is going to start with the ball at the 35. If you onside it and didn't get it, you really only lose about 10 more yards there, Mike.
Absolutely, and it's so glad to see Malik Howard out there. He was going to be one of the return men. He was the up return man on that kickoff, and now he's back in his wide receiver position for the Wildcats.
A great sign. Glad you pointed that out. He's split out to the left along with Jarrell Jimerson, Adam Washington, Will Presley, the lone man on the right. He's getting a lot of respect from that athletic cornerback over there. And Oak Ridge is going to have to call a timeout. Coach Day is hot on the sidelines. I don't know if they're upset with the player, at themselves. There's some confusion, and yeah, it looks like they didn't have enough players. So somebody wasn't communicated with. We'll take a 30-second timeout and come back to get things started here from Blankenship Field. Welcome back to Blankenship Field. First play from scrimmage to start the second half. The opening kickoff went out of bounds. The Wildcats take over possession 1st and 10 from their own 35. Handoff right side, Wayne Gibson. He's going to cut back left. Got some room across the 40. Spins, breaks a tackle, shoves another runner or defender off, and runs the ball all the way up to the 42-yard line. Mike, he probably ran 20 yards to get 7, but that was a tough run. Wayne Gibson, the senior's first run of the ball game, and just like that, we've got another Wildcat offensive lineman down. King Sandoval is going to come in, but Jared Baffert is shaken up. We're going to take a 30-second timeout and come back and check on Mr. Baffert. Going back to Blankenship Field, 2nd and 3 from the 42-yard line for Oak Ridge. They try to get across midfield here on the second play of this second half. Will Presley gets the first down and more. He's across the 50, shakes a man, breaks his ankles, and he gets out of bounds at the 41-yard line. He just told a fella to have a seat out there, put a move on him, went to the sideline, and that's a 10-bank of Oak Ridge first down. And as Will Presley does, as he starts to go, he starts to get more confidence, and everyone in the stadium can feel it.
Absolutely, and Blaine Stansbury had plenty of time and threw a perfect strike to Will Presley for a big game. Now we're inside Red Devils territory at the 40-yard line.
Baffert getting stretched out on the sideline. Hopefully he's going to be all right. It is 1st and 10 from the 41 of Halls. Stansbury goes deep. He's got a man, and he overshoots him. Malik Howard looks towards the inside. Blaine looked like he expected him to keep it more outside, and a miscommunication results in an incomplete pass there. 2nd and 10. It looked like Oak Ridge had an opportunity to make a big play.
Yeah, and Howard's still limping a little bit from where he went into that iron fence earlier, and he couldn't quite get to that pass. It's a little bit overthrown that time. Brings up now 2nd and 10 for the Wildcats.
And what's disappointing there is that's one of the first rare times Malik Howard's been open. They've actually done a really nice job of covering him. Again, only 6 of the 20 points that have been put on the board have been put on by the offense. Oak Ridge has returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns to help give them this lead. Jimerson gets a toss right, across the 40, makes one man miss, but he can't make the second, and he's going to pick up a nice 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6. With 11:05 to go, 55 seconds into this third quarter. Malik Howard, you mentioned it, Mike. Malik Howard's still not 100%, it doesn't look like. He's limping off the field, and so into the ball game for Oak Ridge will come number 24, Liam Gerber, the 5'11", 182-pound sophomore. And just even looking at Liam at picture day in warm-ups today, he looks like the type of guy that's ready to play. Even as a sophomore, he is a big, strong, physical kid, and he's in there right now for the Wildcats. Stansbury gets a snap, rolling left, fires left, and it's outside of the reach of Will Presley. It's a good miss if you're going to have one. You want to miss that to the outside, because if you miss inside, you're in danger of getting intercepted. But that was a ball where Blaine's like, hey, if my guy can't get it, nobody's going to get it.
Right, exactly right. And he almost got it, but it just went off his fingertips. went out of bounds harmlessly, but now it brings up 4th and 7 on the 37 for the Wildcats.
No man's land here without Pearson. Even with Pearson, this is probably 4-down territory, so it's 4th and 7 from the Halls 37. Ball on the right hash mark nearest the Halls sideline, so you could see Oak Ridge roll out to the left. They got a lot of room to work out here. Demillion Porter has not seen action in the second half. Wayne Gibson, the lone back. Stansberry scrambles right. He's under pressure. He doesn't have enough room to make it, so he's going to try to throw it, and unfortunately steps out of bounds, and that'll be a turnover on downs. I understand why Blaine Stansberry didn't run that. It was a headsy play, actually, because he realized he had room to get 4 or 5 yards, but he needed 7, and there was no shot. He was going to have to run over 3 guys to get the first down, so being 4th, he tried to stop himself so he could still be an eligible passer, but unfortunately just got a little too close to the out-of-bounds line.
Yeah, that Red Devil pursuit got right on top of him before he could actually pass the ball. So good defense that time by Hall.
So the 4th down try is no good for Oak Ridge, and Halls takes over after the loss of about a yard. Take over at their own 40-yard line, trailing 20-0. 10:22 left in this third quarter. Halls, handoff on the right side. Tim Walters, no. That is Vasquez. Dominic Vasquez, the first player to hit him. I think Wayne Gibson was in there on the tackle as well.
Also on slot number 73, Dominic Vasquez.
2nd and 6. So a nice first down run. And Halls, they've had a nice play here and there, but they've shot themselves in the foot too many times, and see if they can get on track here. If you're Oak Ridge's defense, you don't want to let them back in this game. Held a pitch to shutout so far through 2 quarters of play. 9:40 to go in the third. Here's a handoff up the middle. Nothing going. He's going to try to break it left, and he can't do it. Monte Bishop and J.T. Gormley get him back in the backfield. A loss of 4. So it brings up 3rd and 10, way back at the 40-yard line. Oak Ridge has been in the backfield early and often tonight.
Outstanding pressure by the linebackers that time, Alex, to get on top of him before he could get any yardage whatsoever. Brings up 3rd and 10 now on the 40.
Talk about the defensive line. The linebackers have making plays, but the defensive line is making it possible. King Sandoval, Tim Walters, and Dominic Vasquez have played an excellent game, both in the run and pass game. Oak Ridge brings a blitzer. Quarterback's hit. Throw is short. What a catch. A one-handed catch by Halls. It was excellent coverage by the sophomore Zayden Williams. He couldn't have been any closer. He actually kind of had one arm tied up. The Halls player just made a spectacular catch, a one-handed catch. There's nothing more really that Zayden Williams could have done. You just tip your cap. It was Jarrell Chandler. Mike, what an athletic play.
Absolutely. He caught that ball with one arm because his other arm was being held by the defense. Just a tremendous play by Halls that time.
8:35 to go in the third. Halls handoff right behind the center. And they're going to go, I thought he got a little further than the officials said, but I'll take it. They're only going to give him a yard, so it'll be bring up 2nd and 9 with 8:20 to go here in the third quarter. Halls this deep into Oak Ridge territory, ball down to the 25. Still a lot of game left to play, but you feel like if they're going to get a spark to get back in this game, they need to get points on this drive. 2nd and 9, 8:05 to go, 17 left on the play clock. Plenty of time. Hall's going to run up the middle again. They're going to get about 3 this time. And we'll call it 3. So it'll be 3rd and 6. And again, down 20. Would Halls try a field goal? I'm guessing not. So, Mike, if you're the offensive coordinator for Halls, you've got two plays to work with, really, to pick up 6. Do you stay on the ground? When they've gone to the air is kind of when they've got themselves in trouble.
Well, I thought they might go wide because they've got 2 plays up the middle. Let's see what they do on this 3rd down and 7.
H-back on the left side, he's pulling right. It's play action. They're going to throw to the H-back, and it's batted down. What a play by Amante Bishop. Bishop into the backfield. Caden Stewart was back there as well, but Bishop, if you haven't seen him for a linebacker, he looks like a strong safety. He is long. He's probably 6'2", 6'3". He's rangy, and that tall frame, when you're reaching up to bat a ball down, really comes in handy.
It certainly does that time. I mean, the pass was there, but he jumped up and swatted it down. Great defense by the Wildcats. Brings up 4th and 6 on the 22. Wildcats leading 20-0 with 7:20 left here in the third quarter.
And there's a issue with the ball spotted. It was spotted a yard behind where it should have been. It's 4th and 6 on the 22. 7:20 to go in the third. Hall's trying to keep this drive going. Oak Ridge trying to keep them held scoreless. Quarterback's trying to run. He's going to throw into the end zone. There's a man there. Touchdown, Halls. Athletic play from Halls and their quarterback Amari Lethgo, who finds Cooper Faust, the 6'1", 160-pound wideout, for a 22-yard touchdown. Mike, that looked like backyard football. It was a nice play initially by the Oak Ridge defense. They got pressure, but that play just went on a little bit too long, and as a defensive back, it's hard to stay after a guy for 5 or 6 seconds. Just tip your cap. A nice stand by Oak Ridge, but unfortunately on 4th down, Halls gets into the end zone. Extra point is up. Extra point is through the uprights. So it's 13 the lead down for Oak Ridge. It's 20-7 here at Blankenship Field. The Wildcats still in the lead, but Halls gets on the board for the first time all night with 7:12 to go in the third quarter. We'll take a 60-second timeout and be back to Blankenship Field.
We'd like to say thank you to the following sponsors. Platinum sponsors, El Jinete, Domino's, Aubrey's Oak Ridge, Fire and Salt, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's Oak Ridge, Buddy's Barbecue, Honey Baked Ham, Gallo Loco, Barrios, Calhoun, John D. Burgess, DDS, Just Another Mom Photography, Ridge Church, Tennessee Orthopedic Clinic, TT, Joyce, Meredith, Philcroft, and Norman, the class of 1989, Reader Chevrolet, Alexander Guesthouse, State Farm, Josh Smithfield. Thank you, Platinum sponsors.
David Clary, Halls needed a response, and they really needed it on that drive, and they got it. An excellent response out of the half for the Red Devils.
Yeah, you said it right. I mean, it was a good play initially by the Wildcats. They got a lot of pressure on Lethgo, but he was able to use his athletic ability and hit Faust in the end zone. Pretty good coverage in the end zone, but you were absolutely right. You just can't cover for as much as time as the Wildcats, had to. But good coverage. Wildcats have got to get their offense going. I'm surprised that DeMillion was not in there on the last series of downs. I think the Wildcats need to, right now, especially if Malik's out, they haven't really been able to get to Will that much. I think they need to run the football a little bit more, run some time off the clock, and because the running game was very effective, I thought, in the first half.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. The run game was effective, but I'm looking down on the sideline. DeMillion, if you remember, he looked like he caught a cramp late in that second quarter. He's still stretching down there. I don't know. Wayne Gibson is a guy with some experience. He looked good in the preseason. He's certainly capable. DeMillion, obviously the workhorse back there with more experience, but I'm not sure, maybe it looks like the injury's the issue. I know he's been riddled a little bit this preseason, but hopefully he'll be able to get out of there. But we'll see. It looks like Wayne Gibson may be the guy to start this drive. as DeMillion's kind of hobbling a little bit on the sideline. So it's 20-7 the score as the sun has fully set here at Blankenship Field. We're underneath the lights on Thursday. We appreciate you listening to us. We appreciate our sponsors. We'll go over them momentarily. The Fox Insurance Group, OBGYN Associates of Oak Ridge, East Tennessee Spine and Sport, the Oak Ridge Utility District, Betsy Coltman Realty, the Jackson Square Barbershop, Nathan Miser with Shelter Insurance. And here's the kick. It's an onside attempt. Great play by the Wildcats. The up man was ready for that. Who is it? 39. Who is it? Number 39? Who else would it be but Oak Ridge's Dylan Woody? As David Clary, I'll let you talk about the Woody boys. They're some of the nicest kids you'll ever meet.
Yeah, Dylan Woody is a rising sophomore. He was a great player on the freshman team a year ago, especially defensive back. His brothers, Blake Woody, both are on the special teams. Both were on the front line. Good hands there by Dylan. The Wildcats, great field position. 1st and 10 at the 48-yard line.
Two receivers split to either side for Stansberry. Gibson in there at running back. Stansberry quick out to Adam Washington. He's going to be shoved out of bounds. Maybe a little extracurricular activity, but Adam's a tough player. He's going to get back up there. We want to continue to thank our sponsors, the Knoxville Orthopedic Clinic of Oak Ridge, Dr. Bill Linehan, DDS, Tin Bank of Oak Ridge, Summit Medical Center of Group of Oak Ridge, TK Wheeler Jewelers, Dr. John Burgess, DDS, Main Street Lofts, MacArthur Animal Hospital, the Pizza Inn, Jimmy Norman with Joyce, Meredith Flickhoff, and Norman, the Oak Ridge Pharmacy, David Ewen, CPA. 2nd and 4. Stansberry quick out to Presley. He's got a couple blockers across the 40. He's got a first down and a little bit more down to the 36-yard line. No, 35. Good spot there, Mr. Official. And that's a Tin Bank of Oak Ridge first down as we continue to thank Sexton Automotive Group of Oak Ridge, the Oak Ridge Boosters Club, Tennessee Army National Guard, Bob's Washboard Laundromat and Bob's Wash and Fold, and Laura Lynn Green, the State Farm Insurance. We're going to take a 30-second timeout here as there's another player down with what appears to be a cramp, but thank you to our sponsors. Please support them. We're going to pay our bills right now by taking a 30-second break. We welcome you back to Blankenship Field. Alex Myers, David Clary, Mike Sheehan with you. We want to thank our camera crew. We can go through those names a little bit later, but there are many of them, and without them, you'd be stuck with our voices, but nothing to look at. So we appreciate them. If you're listening to us via WIJV, WIFA, either one, 92.7 or 94.9, we appreciate you doing so, but we want to let you know, make sure you know that you can watch us all season long on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and search Prep Radio Oak Ridge, you'll be able to click our live stream. We usually start streaming a couple minutes before the game, and we are on there throughout the game. A little bit longer delay as we have some TV timeouts. Mike, Oak Ridge, you've got a chance to respond. DeMillion Porter clearly not in there right now. However, who do you think needs to get going? The offense has sputtered a little bit to start this season tonight. They haven't been clicking on all cylinders. But what are you looking for? Who needs to get going?
Will Presley. He's my favorite player on this team right now at the wide receiver position, right next to Malik Howard, of course. I like them all, but I like those two the best. So I want to see Will break one big one right here.
He is the guy who typically kind of busts games open and makes those big, splashy, loud plays. And I'll give Halls credit, whether it's Malik Howard, DeMillion, they've done a nice job preventing explosive plays. They've forced Oak Ridge to execute, and it's forced Oak Ridge to have a couple of turnovers. Oak Ridge out of the timeout. They're a man short. Here comes another man. It's going to be LaDainian Pendergrass in there at running back. So this is the third different running back we've seen into the ball game for Oak Ridge. 6:59 to go. Oak Ridge up 20-7. Pendergrass gets a give up the middle, tries to break it right, does the best he can just to get a yard. It was tough going there for LaDainian, who came in late and really didn't have much space to work in.
No, he sure didn't. I'll tell you, Hall's Devil up front looked pretty strong here in this third quarter, as LaDainian didn't have a whole lot of room, as you said. And now we got another cramping going on and another 30-second timeout for the Wildcat.
We'll be back in 30 seconds to Blankenship Field.
Hold it still. It's blowing it up.
Well, he texted me when Marco texted me back first. Now he's texting me telling you to check your phone. David's very demanding.
All right, yes.
As we welcome you back to Blankenship Field, I was reminiscing, and if you're watching YouTube, we are aware during commercials you guys can hear us, but we have some friendly banter, and Mike and I have known each other. Dave and Mike have known each other for what, 30 years, 32 years. I've known Mike for about 16 years now, so we go back and forth. So feel free to listen in, but we are aware you can hear it. But we were talking about it, and I said, Mike, you played kind of before Gatorade, when a Powerade and all this stuff was real popular. Did you ever get cramps? And he said, no. Mike, what did you do? What was your magic trick?
Just drinking a lot of water, especially before games. And I drank a lot of lemonade, too.
Well, I'm looking down here, and I've got a Diet Dr. Pepper, but I haven't cramped yet, Mike. But I guess if maybe I've still got to go up and down those steps for post-game interviews, so maybe you might find me laying down at the top of the steps after the game.
I drank a lot of iced tea also.
Hopefully sweet. 2nd and 9 from the 34 with 6:34 to go in the third. Stansberry fires across the middle, hits Presley down to the 33-yard line. Presley, we're used to seeing him on basically streak patterns, just saying line up, outrun a guy, and Blaine will hit you in stride for a touchdown. Halls is playing more over the top, and Will's being forced to kind of work the route tree a little bit more and make catches 5, 7, 8 yards downfield and show some patience. But hey, he's taking what the defense is giving him right there.
Blaine Stansberry threaded the needle that time. Him and Will Presley have played together so long, and they know each other extremely well, and he really had to throw it hard and fast to get it in there because the defender was right on top of him.
5:50 to go in the third quarter. Your receivers are Presley, Amarian Willis, Adam Washington, Malik Howard back in there. Running back is Gibson. Fake to Gibson, and they just flip a pass out for about 3 yards to Howard. The good news for Oak Ridge, they only needed 3 for a first down. He is right on the line. Will they give it to him? It would be fourth and inches. It's going to be 4th and almost a yard, actually. So Oak Ridge is sending some guys on, which will allow Halls to sub, but they're trying to go fast. Tight formation here. Tim Walters into the backfield as a blocker. Stansberry in the gun. Tries to, Halls had a coach defending Will Presley. He was out onto the field to make sure the officials stopped the play. And hey, I'd count that as a win for Oak Ridge. They forced Halls to burn a timeout. We'll take one with them. 30 seconds from now, we'll be back to Blankenship Field.
60.
Back onto the field come the Wildcats. They're moving right to left as we see it here from our spot in the press box. They need a yard. Ball's at the 26-yard line. They need to get to the 25, trying to keep this drive going. 5:03 to go in the third. Wildcats up 20-7. Wildcats get the quarterback sneak, and it's a great play. They lined, which I don't like shotgun formations. That's just modern football. But I love that play, Mike. They got him in the shotgun, and then right before the snap, they run him under center, and they just let him fall forward for the yard.
And that was good line blocking. Helped out that big time, that time by Caden Chipman, the center, helped make that play for the Wildcats, and a very badly needed first down. Ball on the 22 now, knocking on the goal line.
Yeah, they needed a yard, and off a quarterback sneak, they got 3. That tells you how good that push was between the center and the 2 guards. Great job by the offensive line for the Wildcats. Gibson back in at running back. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right for Stansberry as he takes the 1st and 10 snap. Give goes left to Gibson. Nice little jump cut back up the middle. Looked like he was going to be hit for about a yard, gain of a yard, but he had a nice play where he kind of jump cut and scampered forward for a couple more, and he's going to end up with a gain of 4. It's 2nd and 6 from the Hall's 18-yard line. Clock ticking. It's a good thing for Oak Ridge with a 20-7 lead and 4:12 remaining in this third quarter. Oak Ridge in no particular hurry right now. Mike, why would they be?
No, they should not be. Just run the clock. When you got the lead and you got the ball and you keep making first downs, that's all you really need to do.
For the first time, I almost feel a little bit of a breeze coming in to the press box. Boy, is that ever needed. It's so humid, and wow, we've got another timeout, Halls. We'll take one with them. We'll be back in 30 seconds as Oak Ridge leads it 20-7 with 3:49 to go in the third.
Timeout, Halls. The Wildcat football boosters want to send a huge, heartfelt thank you to the Oak Ridge High School cheer team, dance cats, and the Wild Band for bringing the perfect amount of pep to our season kickoff pep rally, sponsored by Old Pit Franklin Motors of Oak Ridge. Our football team, coaches, and boosters truly appreciate the energy and support from all of these amazing groups. Thank you again.
David Clary, as we wait on play to resume here, that Wildcats, we talked about the challenge this game was going to be. We thought the challenge would be bigger for the defense, but the offense has not been able to execute maybe as good as they would like to. But I think going forward in the season, this may help them, David, because they're having to execute in different ways and not get those big plays they're accustomed to.
I'll be honest with you, though. I think the offensive line has done a really good job, honestly, as they come back out on the field. It's not the game that I expected, but the Wildcats grinding it out.
2nd and 6 from the 18. Oak Ridge threatening to add to their 13-point lead here late in the third quarter. Play action fake. Throw to Will Presley, just a little bit out of the reach of Presley, who had a step on the safety, but it falls harmlessly to the turf, and it's 3rd and 6. And again, Mike, situation where usually you're thinking, hey, you trot the field goal unit if you don't get it on this play, but realistically, I think the run's still in play here, maybe a screen, because with the kicking situation being what it is, with Eli Pearson out tonight, it's probably 4-down territory.
Yeah, absolutely. You only need 6 yards, but when you got 2 tries, hopefully they can make it on the 3rd down and won't have to go to the 4th down. The Wildcats in good position, though, on the 18-yard line.
Stansberry in some trouble. Going to get hit by his own blocker who got pushed back, and Blaine's going to be sacked. So it turns it from a 3rd and 6 to a 4th and 10. Still expect to see Stansberry and the offense remain on the field for this 4th down play, but as we tick under 3.5 to go in the third, the Wildcats facing a 4th and 10 from the 22-yard line. And again, it's going to be a passing situation. They haven't had many 3rd or 4th and shorts. It's been these 3rd down 6, 4th and 10, these types of situations. Sack resulted in a loss of 4. The play clock is down to 12, but it's malfunctioning a little bit, so I don't know how well we can count on that. It's getting low into single digits. as Malik Howard's going to take a shot. He's caught it. The 5, the 3, to the end zone. Malik Howard. Great play, great throw by Blaine Stansberry. Great concentration by the big fella. Malik Howard catches the ball, spins as the defender was closing in, and then Tennessee waltzes into the end zone for an easy 6 points. Malik Howard, Blaine Stansberry, there's the connection for 6.
22-yard, great play. Perfect timing by Blaine to Howard. Howard made a great move to get into the end zone, broke a tackle, and the Wildcats up now 26-7.
A little sigh of relief there after the Wildcats kind of lost a little momentum. And again, you're right, Mike, they're going to go for 2 here. It's a 19-point game here, trying to make it a 21-point game. 2:50 to go here. This will be an untimed down as the Wildcats going for a 2-point conversion. It's marked. They've chosen to mark it slightly left of the midfield line, so it's closer to that left hash for the offense. Ball's going to be snapped from the 3. Stansberry in the shotgun. Got a lot of time. He's going to find a man wide open. And who is that? It's the youngster, sophomore Amarian Willis. The 5'9", 160-pound sophomore gets his first end zone action as a Wildcat, and it comes in the form of a 2-point conversion. Wildcats lead it 28-7 as we head to commercial. We'll be back in 60 seconds to Blankenship Field. Alex Myers back with Mike Sheehan and David Clary in Jack Armstrong Stadium here at Blankenship Field, and got an advertisement suggestion for David Clary after this kickoff, as this kickoff is going to be fielded at the 23 to the 25 to the 30, and the return man is going to be hit and dropped. Met first by Quavez Williams, JT Gormley in on the tackle as well. Mike, for these early season games, maybe David Clary could go out and get some sort of a pickle company, drink some pickle juice. Maybe we can get a sponsorship for some pickle juice, because as we look around and how many players have gone down with cramps.
Yeah, really. I mean, I think this Gatorade and Powerade's the best. Tastes a whole lot better than pickle juice.
As there's 2 minutes and 44 seconds left here in the third. So I'm looking to my right towards a lively Jackson Square tonight. The Wildcats, the party rolls on at Blankenship Field. It's 28-7 with 2:44 to go here in the third. Halls takes over, 1st and 10 on this possession at their own 33-yard line. Quarterback, Amari Lethgo. Haven't called his name in a while because they've just been running the ball. They do it there. Get it back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. You know, Lethgo appears to be a pretty good athlete. We've seen him run around. I think David Clary made the comment at halftime, and he's right. He hasn't really looked comfortable, but to me, he looks like the best playmaker you've got, and the other 2 playmakers that we heard so much about are guys that need the ball in their hands at receiver. So if you're running the ball, those guys aren't making plays, and let's be honest, clock ticking down in the third quarter, you're down 3 touchdowns. You've got to get those guys the ball. JT Gormley bats a ball down. They set up the screen, and JT read that like chapter 3.
Yeah, he was on him like nobody's business. As soon as the ball got to Ezra Hastings, JT Gormley just blasted him and made him drop the ball. That brings up 3rd and 10 on the 33 for the Red Devil.
2:07 to play in the third quarter. Hall's with it, trying to convert a 3rd and 10, as Mike mentioned. trailing the Wildcats 28-7. Coach Ring talked that this may be one of the tougher opponents they'll play all season. Wildcats handling it well so far. Quarterback under pressure and overshoots his man. See, Mike, they had a man there. It was the running back out of the backfield, Ezra Hastings. We called his name as a running back. He had a step on Adam Washington, but unfortunately for Halls, the throw just out of his reach.
And not only that, Amani Bishop was right on Lithgow, and he had to release the ball a little bit early, and he threw it too hard. It went over his head and incomplete now. Brings up 4th and 10 on the 33, and Hall will have to punt it back to the Wildcats. Jarrell Jemerson.
Nice to see Jarrell. You know, he's a guy, he's kind of been quiet after his initial burst there in the first quarter, but he's a guy with one touch of the football is a constant threat to take it to the house. We've seen it once.
Just humble.
Interception that he returned. He's got 2 interceptions on the day.
Just.
Ball's late getting a man in. Play clock shows 0, but I guess it's messed up because they've not blown the whistle. Punter with his feet on the 20. He'll release this punt. How was that not blocked? They may have got a tip of it. Wayne Gibson may have got a piece of it. It came off wobbly, and it bounced at the 31 and took an Oak Ridge hop up to the 30. The referee's still going. He's still going. Wow, they're going to mark it all the way up to the Wildcat 38-yard line. That's where Oak Ridge will take over. Mike, I think I'm not Albert Einstein here. I'm not saying anything crazy, but I think Oak Ridge needs to run the ball right here.
Right. Wayne Gibson just about blocked that kick. How he didn't, I really don't know. But the Wildcats got good field position and leading 28-7 with 1:52 seconds left here in the third quarter. Wildcats got possession again. Hopefully we can drive down the field again and put this game out of reach.
Oak Ridge again with the late substitution with their line. They've had some line substitution issues. The good news for Oak Ridge, since they don't huddle, they can just kind of filter guys in. But obviously that's something that you'd like not to happen, but they've been able to survive it. Up 28-7. Wildcats take over. 1st and 10. Here's a handoff left side. Wayne Gibson's. He's crossed the 40 to the 42 before he's dragged down. And nice little first down run scamper. Boy, we're thinking about names as we get ready for kickoff, and we're talking about so many legacy names. There's so many great players, but with Oak Ridge and a tight-knit community like this, Mike, there's so many names that have generations of players all tied together. Wayne Gibson, one of those names. How many Gibsons have played for Oak Ridge and have starred for the Wildcats?
Oh, at least 4 or 5 I can think of right off.
Obviously, Mike Gibson being one. A little bit before my watching time, but I've heard stories of just the athlete that he was. His father, Wayne Gibson, staple in this community. Here's a snap. Blaine's going to tuck it and run across the 40, 45, 50, and scampers out of bounds just across the 50-yard line. It's enough for a tin bank of Oak Ridge first down. You don't see Blaine run a lot. And again, it's wise that he doesn't, because Oak Ridge has got a sophomore quarterback with really no game experience as their backup. So no Parker Free this year. He's sticking with baseball. Can't blame him for that, but Oak Ridge has to keep Blaine upright and healthy, and a nice play by him scampering but then getting out of bounds.
Yeah, he didn't have anybody really open that time, and he pulled the ball down at the last minute, got outside the initial line of scrimmage and ran for a first down.
Blaine looks left, finds Presley. Oh, Presley just tried to turn, and he just kind of dropped that one. Yeah, he took a shot to the back, and unfortunately wasn't able to hang on to that one, but I think he's going to be okay. You know, Will's a guy, Adam Washington's like this. They play with, they're so loose when they play. They play with so much joy that it's a good reminder. You're watching high school kids out here. I know we take Oak Ridge football seriously. Everybody does, but watching those two, they play with a childlike joy, and it's fun to watch.
Amen, bro. I love the enthusiasm the Oak Ridge players have shown tonight. Just a great enthusiasm. Everybody's out there trying their hardest.
53 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Oak Ridge leads it 28-7, a 21-point lead for the Wildcats. Ball at the 50-yard line, 2nd and 10. Quick hitter up the middle to Wayne Gibson. He's going to scamper forward for 3 before he's tackled, but not before he gets inside Hall's territory. So it brings up 3rd and 7. Oak Ridge will have to snap it one more time in this quarter. Play clock is not shown, but there should be about a 2-second difference between the game clock and the play clock. Play clock under 30 seconds now. Again, Oak Ridge will have to snap it one more time, but Oak Ridge in no hurry. Trips right for the Wildcats. One receiver left. That's Malik Howard towards the Oak Ridge sideline. Ball between the hashes. Hard count. Doesn't get Halls to jump. Blaine Stansberry says, hey, let's go, let's go. We got to get a call in, so they get the call. Wayne Gibson flips sides. He's now on Blaine Stansberry's left hip. Handoff goes up the middle to Wayne Gibson. He breaks the tackle in the backfield across the 40 and across enough for a first down. It's a 10-make of Oak Ridge a first down as Wayne Gibson points forward, signaling first down. And we're going to skip forward to the fourth quarter. Wildcats leading 20 by 21, scores 28-7 here. Another Halls player down. Hopefully he's going to be okay. Let's take a 90-second break. 90-second break, and we'll be back to start the fourth quarter.
At the end of the third quarter.
I think we got this in the bag. Yeah. Throw her out the window. Yeah. Poor silly goose.
We'd like to remind you once again, we still have a Subaru key on a Nike lanyard up here in the press box. Check your pockets if you've lost the key.
Mike Sheehan, you mentioned earlier Elijah Young went out in the first half, I think, and he has not been back in the game. That's something to keep an eye on as we move forward. He doesn't have his shoulder pads on, so clearly he's out for this one, but he's a key piece of that offensive line, and hopefully he's going to be, healing quickly and not out too long.
I hope so. We don't have a great deal of depth in our linemen. Eli Young is an outstanding player. I hate to see anybody get hurt this early in the season.
Comes a pass to Adam Washington, and he rarely drops the ball. He's one of the more sure-handed guys over the last few years for the Wildcats, and just dropped that one. He had a little bit of space, which is, he doesn't always have a ton of space when he gets the ball, and so that time I think his eyes got a little big, and I hate that for Adam because he is truly just a great young man and a great kid, and a guy that takes time for young kids and younger athletes. Grew up watching him as a ball boy. This is a guy that eats, sleeps, and breathes Wildcat football, and one of my favorite Wildcats to cheer on this squad. 2nd and 10, ball at the 40-yard line. Blaine's got all day. He's going to scramble left. Nice block by Jared Bafford, but they're going to get him with the hold at the end. And they're going to get him with the hold. Couple of flags on the play. It was a nice little scamper, but it's going to come back. It is going to be a holding on the Wildcats. So we'll see where they mark it. 11:49 to go here in the fourth quarter. Just underway here in the fourth. As Oak Ridge, we talk about penalties at halftime. For the first game, I still remember a few years back when Oak Ridge played at South Doyle. And I don't know, but it seemed like there was 30 penalties on Oak Ridge, and they got out of there with the win, but boy, it was a tough watch. Tonight, there have been mistakes, but it's not been as many of the mental errors. Oak Ridge has really not been penalized much.
It has not. It's been a great less penalty game. This is the kind of game I like, where there's not a whole lot of what you call stupid penalties.
Here comes Blaine rolling out to the right. He's got a man. That's Amari Willis. Amarion across the 40, carrying defenders. He will not stop. Not until he gets back to the 37-yard line. Amarion Willis, again, he's a young guy. He's got some speed. He scored a touchdown a couple weeks ago in the scrimmage against Fulton that I was here to watch. Mike, you and I watched some of that game together, and he got a chance to play, and he shined in his opportunities there. So in a team full of guys that's a guy you can look for to go, how does he develop? Because he's going to be around the next couple years.
He's a very determined runner after he makes the catch. He always seems to get those extra 5 or 6 yards that really, get the ball down the field.
Under 10 seconds on the play clock now. Coaching staff urging them to hurry up. They've got to snap it. 5, 4, 3. Here's a man in motion. There's a snap. Blaine looking deep. He's got Malik Howard. Oh, just off the fingertips of Howard. That would have been dialed up for 6. Malik Howard, it was a nice play design. They've done a nice job of covering him up, but they did a little wheel route where he and Will Presley, the 2 big targets for Oak Ridge, their paths crossed. The defense, it created just enough separation. It's a beautiful play, though. Unfortunately, not a touchdown, but it brings up 4th and 8. The offense still on the call.
Yeah, Hall did about as good a job as they could defending that play. Now it brings up 4th and 8 for the Wildcats. Ball on the 37-yard line with 10 minutes and 34 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Wildcats up 28-7.
4th and 8 for Stansberry in this Wildcat offense. 2 receivers to either side. Stansberry, nice block by Wayne Gibson. Stansberry throws a ball downfield, and it's incomplete. He was trying to throw that one for Will Presley, but unfortunately he was hit right as he threw, and it just wasn't there. But it's 4th down, so you got to go for it there. Wildcats still lead it 28-7, and the good news about that drive, Mike, it took some time off the clock. Hall's still in this game, but with the passing game that has been, we'll say, shaky at best, you feel good if you're a Wildcat fan. I'm looking to my right in the booth as Coach Hawkins, longtime defensive coordinator in East Tennessee, spent years at Farragut, spent several years here at Oak Ridge, and you see what coaches for all these teams get so fiery, Mike. He is calm, collective. I watched him in high pressure semifinal state games. It doesn't matter what the score is. He looks the same, and I think his defense feeds off of that.
He certainly has a great demeanor about himself.
Here's some pressure early on. Quarterback's going to scramble, and he needs to get rid of it, and he doesn't. He's going to fall, still take a hit. Gormley and Stewart there to meet him. And again, Amari Lethgo's kind of a guy who's running around in the backfield, and, he's looks like a playmaker, but hasn't really been able to connect on plays. And so
our defensive backs have really played great. I mean, he couldn't find anybody to throw the ball to because they were covering everybody.
And that's a great point, Mike, because it's one thing to cover a guy when he's in the pocket, but when a guy gets out and there's kind of a scramble drill and things go off script, it's hard as a defensive back to stay with your man. Oak Ridge has done a nice job of doing that. 2nd down and 13, the run goes up the middle. He gets about 4, so it'll be 3rd and 9. Ball will be marked at the Hall's 38-yard line, and here's another Wildcat down. JT Gormley in some pain. Brian Leffler out there immediately to see him. We're going to take a 60-second timeout and come back to check on JT.
Hello, Wildcat Nation. OB/GYN Associates of Oak Ridge is ready to take care of your healthcare needs for women of all ages 13 and above. We specialize in gynecological family planning, wellness care, prenatal care, and pregnancy-related issues. Call our office to schedule an appointment with a member of our team of physicians. Dr. Kate Robertson, Dr. Ryan Logan, Dr. Catherine Hayes, Dr.
JT hurt his knee. God, I hope not. I just hate these.
David Clary, JT Gormley gets up. He's got to come off the field, but we were afraid for a minute. He's one of the leaders of this team and one of the best players, and he looked like he was in some pain, but when they helped him up, he started beating his chest and trying to fire his teammates up. That's a good sign because Oak Ridge desperately needs him to be out there.
Yeah, most definitely. I see Blake Woody is in the ball game now, so Blake getting a chance to play, a member of our crew. And timeout is asked for. You know, the Wildcats trying to take home the first win. You might remember, Alex, last year we started this season 0-2 with losses to Jefferson County and Powell. I know Coach Rank said one of the things that he wanted to do is to start the season strong. And obviously, you know, he talked about this Halls team, and Mike made a good point a minute ago. Our defensive backs are just not giving them any space. They've got two guys that have about 1,000 yards receiving, but our defensive backs have just shut them down, and Lefkoe has no place to go, and that's one of the reasons he's thrown 3 interceptions.
Yeah, I was kind of, you know, obviously I want Oak Ridge to shut them down, but in a way I was kind of looking forward to seeing some of these playmakers from Halls. The credit to Oak Ridge and their defensive backfield. The line and linebackers have played well, but the defensive back from Oak Ridge have really limited the opportunities and made it really tough for these guys to get going, which is saying something because, as you mentioned, these are really good athletes on the outside, and the defense has been stifling. It's just 7 points given up, 28-7 the score. Wildcats in the lead, 9:22 to play in the fourth. Let's go. Back at quarterback position. He's got some room. He's going to scramble for first down yardage. He makes a man miss and gets across the 48 down to the 49-yard line. It'll be good enough for a first down. 3rd and 9 scramble. Again, to me, you got to just let that guy go make plays, Mike. He's clearly one of their best athletes.
Oh, no doubt about it. He made 3 really good moves that time, and they get that big, badly needed first down for the Halls Red Devils, and they moved the ball down all the way to the 49, so they got only 51 yards to go.
A little bit of a sleepy feel to this game because Oak Ridge has just kind of felt in control. But if Halls can put together some points here, it becomes a 2-possession game with 8:55 to go. They're taking a shot downfield, nearly intercepted. Darrell Jimerson took a tremendous break on that ball. Mike, I thought he almost had his 3rd. I think we're probably going to talk to Mr. Jimerson after this game.
Absolutely. That ball was just too low, even for Darrell, but he sure made a great effort to catch it. And he almost scooped it up, but it went out of bounds. Brings up 2nd and 10 now for the Red Devils.
David Clary mentioned he's in there. Blake Woody, the 6-foot, 170-pound junior, still in the ballgame at linebacker, playing well in his few attempts he's got. And there's a false start against Halls, so that's kind of been one of Halls' problems is they've not executed really well, but I don't know that Oak Ridge would say that they have either. They've started to, certainly in the second half, but Halls has had opportunities, but Mike, they've hurt themselves.
Absolutely. You shoot your you shoot yourself in the foot when you keep getting these 5-yard penalties. I mean, 15 yards is much harder than 10 to get back.
Well, and it's hard enough against this Oak Ridge defense to begin with. If you make it harder, it's nearly impossible. 8:50 to go in the fourth. Little delay draw there to the running back, and the horse collar tackle is going to be made by Bishop, but it was unfortunately right in front of the official, and that's the right call. So that will help Halls out. It was a gain of about a half a yard, but again, it's a horse collar foul against the Wildcats. No, and we'll argue calls. We'll argue calls all day long, Mike, but there's some even we won't argue.
No, so, you know, that happens. I horse collared a couple of guys, you know, when I was playing. You don't mean to do it, but you just have to go over to the coach and say, sorry, coach.
Now, Mike, when you did the horse collar, did you get any of the leather on the helmet, or?
I had them by the shoulder pad.
I was making a leather helmet joke, Mike. All right, 1st and 10. Dave hasn't done it yet, so I had to give the one jab. 1st and 10 from the 39. Nice little run up the middle. David Clary, it's your turn next week. I'll let you get Mike as you normally do next week.
Looking forward to it.
Unfortunately, another Wildcat down, and we're going to have to send it to break again. Wildcat down on the field. Hopefully he's okay. Quavez Williams slow to get up. We're going to take a 30-second timeout. When we come back, we'll resume action here from Blankenship Field. David Clary, I'll go to you for this. Cramps are always an issue typically in the first game or two of the season, and surprisingly I didn't think they were as big of an issue in that first quarter when the sun was still up, but as this game has progressed, it has been just cramp city.
Yeah, I was talking to Brian Leffler, the trainer, and that is exactly what he said. He said it is cramp city down here, and it's one after another. Cramps don't happen really just honestly because of the game and the heat. They happen because the Wildcats probably during the day didn't hydrate enough. Probably had Coke for lunch, and that's one of the things that happens usually in the first ball game, but not so. Just about everybody today. Demillion Porter came out of the game and hasn't re-entered because of cramps, and he had a problem early on. But let's see what Oak Ridge can do. The Wildcats still in the lead. 28-7. Back to you.
Here comes the snap. They're looking left, trying to get a deep shot. They've got a man at the 10. He catches it to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Halls. And pending the extra point, Halls has cut the lead in half. Made it a 2-possession game. It was Amari Lethgo to Jarrell Chandler. And that's one of the playmakers, he and Rogers, that we talked about at the beginning of this game at the outset of kickoff. And they haven't had a lot of opportunities, but right there they made Oak Ridge pay. Here comes the very important extra point to make this a 14-point game. Halls has an extra guy on the field. That should be a penalty. They had an extra man on the field and nobody caught it. The extra point was no good though. So it remains a 15-point ball game. That could be important. 7:51 to go in the fourth. Wildcats lead is trimmed 28-13. Kickoff coming in 60 seconds.
I'd like to again encourage you to visit Fox Insurance Group in Oak Ridge for all of your personal or business insurance needs. Thanks to Fox Insurance Group and all of our scoreboard sponsors.
Can't grab me out like that, Shauna. Shauna's snitching over here. Snitch.
I want to give a shout out to Nick Suttles, who couldn't be here tonight, but I know his thoughts are with us as he's working hard tonight. And Nick is another staple. Going on Blankenship Field and seeing Nick Suttles before the game and all those years with Coach Saunders. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Coach Saunders, who passed in this offseason, but what a legacy he's left behind, touching so many lives and making an impact like few others on this program. Here's the kickoff. It's going to be a high arching kick, short, fielded at the 34-yard line by Wayne Gibson. He fair caught it, so that's where the Wildcats will take over. Didn't really hear a whistle there, but everybody stopped, so I guess they were on the same page. Wildcats will take over at their own 34, 1st and 10, leading 28-13. 7:48 to go in this ball game. The recipe: run the ball, milk the clock, get out of here with a win.
Amen. I like the way you talk, and I hope that's exactly what happens. Just get a first down. Run it, run it, run it, run it.
Wayne Stansberry brings his troops back onto the field on the far hash. Wide side of the field is towards the Oak Ridge sideline. Jimerson and Washington that way. Handoff right side. Following those receivers is Wayne Gibson. He's got the 45, 45, 50. Cuts back across midfield, back to the left side. Will Presley looking to block. He's going to be hit and knocked down, but not until he gets all the way down to the Halls 41-yard line. And 2 Halls football players are hurt. They're going to call a timeout. We'll take one with them. We'll be back in 30 seconds to Blankenship Field.
We have an official timeout.
Thankfully, the Halls player looks like he's all right. He's back up and walking off under his own power. Mike, Oak Ridge looking good here, looking like they're starting to get their footing. Offensively, they were a little shaky, but football, you know, I'm a big basketball guy, but football to me is still the greatest team sport there is. There's just simply no other sport where you have to have that many people executing and on the same page. The team was picked up by the defense, but in the second half, the offense has looked a little more consistent.
Yeah, they definitely have. They've definitely picked it up here in this second half. And being up 28-13, 7:32 left, and in control of the ball, I love the way this is going.
1st and 10, ball at the 41-yard line, 7:25 and counting on the clock in the 4th quarter. Handoff, Wayne Gibson. Nice couple cuts across the 40, down to the 35, 30, 25, down to the 24. He's rumbling for a second consecutive Tin Bank of Oak Ridge first down. Hall's coaches coming off the sideline to pull a player back who was going after Bafford. Hall's player in Bafford, that's a couple times they've kind of gone at it, and they finally throw the flag, and I think they're going to get Halls for this. We'll see what they call. That looked like it could have gotten nasty. Thankfully, that Halls coach got on the field and got his player under control.
He threw a punch is the reason the coach ran out on the field. That's an automatic personal foul. I don't care what team you're playing on. That will be 15-yard personal foul against the Halls Red Devils.
And it is going to be on Halls. No, they call it on Jared Bafford. They're going to call it on both.
Oh, you're right.
But clearly, Coach Rang didn't like that one. And you know, maybe that's the right call. I don't know. You know, I didn't see Jared throw anything, but, you know, hey, Jared's still in there, and I guess that player will come back in a minute or so. But, you know, you're going up against somebody, and Jared's a vocal guy. But, hey, clearly he got the best of him that play, but thankfully cooler heads prevailed, and we're back in business. Tin Bank of Oak Ridge first down after that play, and it's 1st and 10 for the Wildcats from the Halls 24. Wildcats trying to extend their lead and essentially put this game on ice. 6:53 to go in the 4th. Stansberry takes the snap, give right side to Wayne Gibson. He's got one man to beat. He does. Across the 20, across the 15. Gets a block by Presley, and he's going to be shoved out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Wayne Gibson, to me, this is the most consistent minutes real game that I've seen him get at the running back position over the past couple years. And as a senior, you don't know what you have behind Emilian Porter. He looked good in preseason, but after he got a couple snaps in him, he's looking like a legitimate back in the backfield.
Absolutely. That was an 11-yard gain on that play. Wildcats now knocking on the ball on the goal line on the 13-yard line.
And what's impressed me as a running back is his ability to put his plant foot in the ground and get low and cut back. Penalty before the snap, there was a whistle, and actually I think it's going to be a timeout. Is it Halls? Timeout, Halls. We're going to take a 60-second timeout. When we come back, Oak Ridge will have it 1st and 10 from the Halls 13. It always makes you feel good, Mike, when family listens. I got my aunt, a cousin, my mom, dad, stepmom listening, so I appreciate you guys listening. Everyone listening tonight here on our first game of the season. We'll remind you that we'll be here with you all throughout the season. David Clary and crew will be with you all basketball season. How are they able to do that? The sponsors. Be sure and thank them. We appreciate them. Here's the 2nd and 9. Blaine rolls out to his right. Rolling, got time, throws it to the end zone, in and out of the hands. I thought Will Presley was going to have it, but he and Malik Howard, Mike, were kind of crowded in that right corner, and just something didn't look quite right about that play, but it'll bring up 3rd down.
Three's Hall Devils, Red Devils defending on that play, and they got to the ball and knocked it to the ground harmlessly. Now it brings up 3rd down and 8 on the 11 with 5:46 in the ball game left. Oak Ridge up 28-13.
You want to run time, so the wise play would be probably to run the ball here and set up 4th and short. However, me being greedy, I would like to line Malik Howard up against a small cornerback and just give him 2 jump balls in the end zone. Here's Stansberry, 3rd and 9 from the 11. They can get a 1st down without scoring. Here's a toss play to Jimerson. Bobbles the ball, and he's going to be wrapped up and wrestled down for a big loss back at the 20-yard line. The ball fell out of his hands, and that's kind of what caused that mishap. So it'll bring up 4th down. Oak Ridge is... What's unfortunate, Mike, is if Eli Pearson was available, you could trot the kicking unit out there, make this an 18-point game and a 3-possession game. But because he's not, you've got to go for it on 4th and 16. And you take kickers for granted, you take the kicking game for granted, but those are the types of decisions as a coach. If you have an elite kicker like Eli Pearson, it changes the game.
It certainly does. And I hate Eli's got a hamstring injury, and I sure hope he can recover quickly because we need him.
And Oak Ridge very well may just take this clock down to 0 and call 1 and call a timeout. That's what Oak Ridge is going to do. So we'll keep it right here, David, as I love to keep it right here. And you said you've allowed me one keep it right here tonight. I'm using it. David, I'll go to you, as I appreciate you letting me and Mikey yap, as we so often do. David, it's been a long game, but one where the Oak Ridge, they've been tested for sure, but the Wildcats are going to come out of this, it looks like, okay, and with some injuries, hopefully that can be quickly mended, but Oak Ridge has looked good, especially in the second half. Offensively, they look like they've got their footing on it.
Yeah, I think so. Let me go back a couple plays, though. That pass play in the end zone, I believe probably that was not the play that was called because you had 3 different receivers in the same area. They were all in kind of a triangle, and there really wasn't much room, honestly, for Blaine to get the throw in. Adam Washington was open at the top, but he looked into that little threesome there. I think probably somebody had a busted play on their route on that one particular play, or that might have been a touchdown. But you're exactly right. I think the offense has looked much better here in the second half. And Wayne Gibson, I think he looked really good in the 2 preseason scrimmages against Fulton and Cookeville. I'm not surprised he's run the ball that well in this ball game because he's looked good. He's never really carried the ball as a running back until this preseason, and he's looking good as a senior. Be good to have everybody back healthy next week, and at least Malik's coming back in the ball. Has come back in the ball game. But the Wildcats, and one other observation, they've also been very close to picking up penalties on unsportsmanlike calls. And I've got to go back to you. Back to you, Alex.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely, it's the kind of game coaches love because it looks like you're going to be all right, but definitely some coaching points going forward. Here's 4th down and 16. Lob up to Malik over 2 guys. Who's got it? Nobody. It falls to the ground. And there is a flag on the play in the backfield. If it's against Oak Ridge, it'll be declined in Hall's ball. The only hope was that it would be maybe a personal foul, roughing the passer on Hall's, but this is going to be against, I thought, Oak Ridge. It is. So that will be declined, and Halls will take over. 1st and 10 from their own 19-yard line. So, as good as we feel, because you don't have Eli Pearson out there to extend this to a 3-possession game, the lady's not singing just yet, Mike. This is technically, I mean, this is still a ball game, especially with the playmakers Halls has. There's a route here for Halls to get back in this game. So if you're Oak Ridge defensively, you cannot relax.
Well, Alec, you know those 2-point conversions are really loomed huge now for the Wildcats. With a 15-point lead, they're actually going to have to score 3 times if they plan on taking the lead.
4:38 to go. 1st and 10 from their own 19. Halls. Trouble in the backfield, and that trouble found him. Sacked. Oak Ridge's Caden Stewart alongside Amante Bishop and Nate Stevens, playing a little bit of both ways. He's played really well. I haven't seen him play a lot of defensive line, but he's looked good out there tonight. Kind of a rangy guy, but he's been in the backfield. Tim Walters, Dominic Vasquez, these guys have been in the backfield all night long. They get a sack, a loss of 4 right there. 4:02 to go. 4:01 now here in the 4th. Clock beginning to really become an ally for the Wildcats. Halls needs to make a play quickly. Here's a screen out to the 14. Blasted. Mr. Woody. Welcome home to the Wildcats in Blankenship Field as his first meaningful action on Blankenship Field here in the 2025 season, the last couple drives, and he looks good.
Number 4, Hastings, tackled by number 40.
And when Rivalry Thursday comes to town, they do this throughout the year when they go to different games, and they've raised over $1,700 for Wreaths Across America, and that's a shout out to the Halls and Oak Ridge fan base who have been very generous tonight as we've got another sack from Oak Ridge. As it looks like there's a player shaken up again. Bishop looks like he's going to be okay. 2:55 left to go here in the 4th quarter as that sack brings up 4th and 18. So Halls, they're bringing their punt unit out, but to me, I mean, I know you're giving up points and you're basically giving up a touchdown here and making the score look better, but to me, this makes no sense. If I'm a player on Halls, I want to win the game. If you punt this, you cannot win this game. If you go for it, you're probably not going to win the game, but you give yourselves that 1% chance. I don't understand this. I'll never understand this. It's a 15-point game with under 2.5 minutes. Give your kids a shot. I don't understand it. Mike, am I missing something?
No, not really. You're not. You made a really good point. But, you know, they've dug themselves a hole they can't get out of. and they'd rather be 40 yards up the field than 10.
And they've got a pretty good weapon at punter. He's going to get it, land at the 42. It's going to take a Halls bounce across the 50 into Oak Ridge territory. But to me, as a coach, and the Halls coach, clearly he's doing a nice job. This program, he's got a good team, and I expect them to win a bunch of games. But in that scenario, I don't care if you lose by 3 touchdowns or 2, what does it matter? If you punt that ball, you lose. If you go for it and make it, you still probably lose, but you give yourselves a chance. To me, it's the equivalent in basketball of being down by 3 with half a second left and not shooting it instead of throwing up a full court heave. Why not? You got nothing to lose. You don't get, your record doesn't get worse by losing by more points. I'm beating a dead horse regardless. Good news for the Wildcats. This one's just about over. 1:52 to go in the 4th. Oak Ridge gets the ball back, up 28-13. Ball on the Wildcats' 46-yard line. Stansberry in the game, gives it to Mill Porter, who's back in the game with 1:52 to go. I don't know. David, are you surprised to see DeMillion back in there after battling injuries this preseason and not playing at all in the second half? Are you surprised to see him back there this late?
From what I understand, Mill took himself out of the ball game with those cramps earlier. He probably saw Wayne Gibson getting a lot of big yardage and wanted to get back in there.
$120 seconds left in this ball game. Excuse me, 80 seconds. Math, I was a communications major for a reason. Mike Sheehan. Here's the handoff to Mill. Mill, nice couple cuts, but not a lot of room to go. He'll do his best just to get back to the line of scrimmage. And with under a minute to go now, this one's all but over. It'll be a 3rd and 6 upcoming for the Wildcats. They only have to run one more play. Hall's kind of tipping the cap. They're not going to call a timeout. They don't have any to call even if they could. 28-13 will be your final score. As I'll walk down momentarily to get the post-game interview. Mike, we'll do this. It's a little bit difficult, but we'll do it as we have the past several years. I just have to get off my lazy backside and go up and down the steps. So here's the final play, and it's a knee in the backfield. Blaine Stansberry takes a knee, and there's victory number 1. And a promising season for the 2025 Wildcats begins just as all had hoped, with the W and a spot in the win column by way of a 15-point victory. Final score 28-13, Wildcats over Halls. We're going to take a 3-minute timeout. Let's take a 4-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll have post-game interviews. 4-minute timeout. And we'll be back with more.
You can also catch the freshman and JV team in action this Sunday evening at home as they take on the Halls Red Devils. Game time is 6 o'clock. We'd like to wish the Red Devils good luck next week as they take on the Eagles here at High School. We'd like to announce that tonight was the Oak Ridge High School's 700th win.
I think he.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. Alex Myers down here at field level. And first off, we got Wayne Gibson. Wayne, you've played a lot of ball at Oak Ridge, but you haven't played a lot of big minutes at running back. I know you've played a lot of defensive back, but you've got some reps at running back in years past, but you've kind of been banged up. Tonight, some of your biggest action at the running back position in that second half, you helped a unit that was sputtering a little bit in the first half. Looked like you kind of stabilized things on the ground. Talk about your performance tonight.
I feel like my performance, I just had to step up when the team needed me most. You know, Mill went down, I got to carry the rock just as well as he would.
You looked like, to me, in the scrimmages in the preseason, you really kind of got your footing and looked like you were becoming a more confident runner. What's your best asset, your best trait?
I feel like it's just natural ability when it comes to running the ball. I know when to cut, I know where to cut, I just know what to do.
You were cutting back quite a bit tonight, and I don't know if those were all designs or if you just were seeing things, but definitely the cutback is what I noticed too. Do you think something like this, you think that gives your coaches, your teammates a little more confidence that, hey, if everybody knows Mill's a playmaker, but if something happens and he needs a spell, you think that kind of gives them a little more confidence as well?
Yeah, I think that shows them that even if Mill goes down, I got this still. We're just the same team.
All right, now, which is your favorite, offense or defense? You got to answer it.
Defense, I like hitting people.
Fair enough. Wayne Gibson, thanks so much. Congratulations.
Appreciate you.
Senior on a big win. There's another senior that we've got momentarily, Jarrell Jimerson. I don't know if he's able to speak with us. Just give us one moment here. Jarrell, are you? Jarrell Jimerson, as we go over to find him. Everybody's popular after these games. We got to fight for our right to party here. Jarrell Jimerson. As we got intercepted there. Matthew Charles, our cameraman. This is not riveting radio, I apologize, but Jarrell just got intercepted. So give us 1 second. Mikey Teasley walking past us. You're good. So here's Jarrell Jimerson. So, Jarrell, you had a great game tonight. I appreciate you taking a moment for us. You guys started the game. We were talking on the pregame show, based off what Coach Rang had told us about their offense, we kind of thought this might be a shootout, maybe a 30 to 20-something game. It was not that at all, and you guys set the tone early. I think you got the first interception right as on the broadcast. We said, we need a big play. Somebody needs to step up. The very next play, you stopped a touchdown, gave your offense the ball back. Oak Ridge ended up turning the ball over, but then your buddy Tyree Porter got a pick six to start things off. Then you came back later on with the pick six of your own. The defense was incredible today, and it may not have looked like it because how you guys played, but that's a strong Halls offense, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. Hey, we came out ready, though. You know, they told us the big key factors on the team. We came out ready for them. We ain't let it get to us. Came out and played, you know. That's all it was to it.
Coach Hawkins, as a defensive coordinator, I want you to talk about him, and you talked about I'm sure meaning the coaching staff, on what you guys need to key on. He sits up there in the press box next to us, and we see coaches getting fiery and yelling and screaming. It doesn't matter the score. It doesn't matter how well you're playing, how bad you're playing. He's totally steady up there. Do you guys feed off that? Does that translate to you guys?
It comes from the box, come from it all the way down. Everything we feed off of, because they lose it, we lose it. We got to stay in it together, man. It's all part of a team. We all together in this.
And did you guys feel like, as part of that team atmosphere, you guys kind of picked your offense up? I think everybody expects this offense, Malik, Will, DeMillion, Blaine. You got so many playmakers, but the offense didn't have it in that first half. Did you guys feel like you were able to pick them up a little bit?
Yes, most definitely. I told them, I said, hey, we going to have some possessions where we ain't going to make it all. We just got to keep going. We got to bounce back. We going to get another one in. Just got to keep playing. I tell all my guys, keep their head up no matter what's going on in the game or how far we down.
Tough opponent this week. You guys got to win. Congratulations. But what do you guys have to do to continue to get better? Because you got another big game coming up next week.
Keep going even harder, man. It ain't no letting up. Got to get a ring. Rivals next week. We ready for them. Just keep going hard. That's it.
Last question. You've got, if you're not watching on live, if you're listening via radio, he's got an absolute 8-pound chain across him. You get that for the interception, right? You get a chain for the interception. Any chance you guys would let radio guys wear that?
Oh, no. Yeah, we got to go to my boy Tyree next, you know.
It looks better. It looks better on y'all anyways. Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Jarrell Jimerson. Coach Derek Rain joining us. Coach, I just found out we're not going to be allowed as the radio crew to wear the chain, but I figured it was worth the shot. Congratulations, Coach. Big win. You know, the score didn't really look how tough that Halls team was. You guys made them not look very good offensively. That's a really good team, though, that you guys just beat.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to come out and bring some heat. We wanted to play some man coverage, bring pressure, blitz from all different angles, get after the quarterback. And, you know, we felt like, and I was just proud of the way the secondary made a lot of plays tonight. We had, obviously, a couple pick sixes, I think 3 picks tonight, multiple sacks. So we're just trying to come out there and you know, blitz a little bit, you know, work fundamental football, and felt really good about it because they have very talented offense. So to hold them to 13 is big. We knew they'd make a couple plays, and they did, but held them to 13, had 28. We're proud of it.
Yeah, I want to dig a little bit deeper into that because David Clary mentioned at halftime, the quarterback, kind of a runaround guy, good athlete, pretty good arm, but David used the word confused, and I agree totally. It looked like he was confused out there. Were you guys, do you think that's some of the stuff that you were doing, what you're talking about?
I mean, you know, the plan all along was, I guess the best way for me to describe it was when I say bring heat, you know, we wanted to bring pressure from different angles. And we wanted to, now in the back end it wasn't too complicated, but we wanted to mix the fronts up a little bit, you know, mix our pressures up a little bit. And I think, you know, when you go against an Oak Ridge defense that kind of has some speed out there and kind of has some guys that were playing fast, I think it's obviously, you know, maybe he got a little flustered, but that was the plan, was to try to get him off his game.
3 interceptions tonight, 2 of them returned for touchdowns. That's huge. Coach Hawkins in this game plan, Jarrell talked about Coach Hawkins and his kind of just steadiness, how that really helps the team. What can you say about Coach Hawkins? Because I know he doesn't get interviewed a lot, but he's a huge part of what you guys do.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Coach Hawkins obviously has been around the game for a long time. And, you know, we're proud of, I guess, the plan we've kind of put together defensively this year, kind of going back in the offseason. We wanted to be, you know, multiple front, multiple coverage, just throw a lot of stuff at the offense and just find out what's working. And, you know, we feel like we put the plan together and felt like it. Luckily tonight it was executed very well. But, you know, we're going to get on these guys next week about, you know, harping on fundamental football and just maintaining our level of play.
Offensively, you guys kind of sputtered in the first half. I mean, they played well, and you guys just didn't really have it. The defense picked you up. I thought in the second half, especially as the game went on, I thought Wayne Gibson gave you guys a spark, and I think you guys started to find your footing a little bit there.
Yeah, I mean, we got, obviously, you know, Mills coming off a big injury, so he wasn't going to be able to play the whole game. And then, you know, first game of the year, you're always going to have cramps. That's just part of it. But, you know, Wayne come in, kind of gave us a little spark there offensively. And, you know, on the offensive line, obviously, we had a lot of guys play tonight, go in there and battle a little bit. And, you know, one of the big things was Eli Pearson kind of having a little bit of an injury. You know, our kicking game wasn't great. So when you're having to go for it on fourth down every time, you know, you don't want a field goal get blocked and return for a touchdown. We kind of had to manage the game different. And when the defense is playing good and you're maybe a little shaky on special teams, you want to manage the game to win. And we felt like we did that. So, I mean, you know, we'll obviously next week's a new adventure, and we'll just keep getting better from there.
Speaking of next week, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. You got a big rivalry game next week. As a coach, you plan all year for week 1, and then it happens, and then all of a sudden, quickly, you got to prepare for week 2. What do you guys need to do as a team to get better and be ready for Clinton?
I mean, we just got to, I guess, clean everything up. I mean, all the cramps, all the penalties. I mean, a lot of guys were playing. Had a lot of guys, you know, just, you know, missed assignment. But yeah, that's what happened the first game. We just got to lock in a little bit more. We just got to make sure we're buttoned up. I mean, you know, Clinton, you know the way Clinton is. They're going to play their best game of the season against Oak Ridge. That's happened for years. We go there. I mean, heck, the last time we played there, I wasn't there, so this will be fun for me. But it's going to be rowdy, man. You know that, Alex. I mean, it's Oak Ridge, Clinton over there. I mean, you know, it's weird stuff happens. So we got to make sure we're buttoned up.
That's one way to put it, Coach. Hey, congratulations on a great start to the season and the program's 700th victory. That's the last question I'll ask you. So what does that mean to be a part of it? Because not a lot of programs have won that many games, and to be a part of that, I know it's got to be special for you as a coach.
Yeah, 700 wins. I mean, what can you say? The history and tradition of Oak Ridge football. It's kind of funny. You know, I was reading Clary's article about, I guess, documenting 1 to 100 to 200. You know, you just see like, about every 10 years it's another 100. I mean, you know, like the 10, 11 years. So a lot of wins for this program. Obviously, I'm just thankful to be a part of it, to be part of the 700th, and night you'll never forget.
Absolutely. Hey, Coach, congratulations.
Yep, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you to Jarrell Jimerson and Wayne Gibson, and also Coach Derek Rang for giving us some time. We're going to send it to a three-minute timeout. When we come back, we'll have the stats and the scoring recap from David Clary and Mike Sheehan. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Ready for the scoring recap?
Yep, anytime. Tell me when and I'm there.
That's all I can play this if you
Ask Mark if he's ready.
Mark.
I'm going to go to Mark first. That way we
Sure.
can keep it here at the end.
Hey, no problem.
Welcome back to Blankenship Field. As we get ready to send it to Mark Haste, who has the stats. Stick around. We've got a scoring recap, and we'll have final thoughts from Mike Sheehan and David Clary. But first off, here is Mark Haste with the stats.
Thank you very much, Alex. As you said, Oak Ridge victorious tonight by a final score of 28-13 over the Halls Red Devils. Looking at the statistics, first for Oak Ridge, they were led on the ground by Demillion Porter. He had 101 yards on 9 carries. Wayne Gibson, 81 yards on 9 carries. Blaine Stansberry carried the ball 5 times, or rather 6 times for 5 yards. And let's see, Pendergrass had 1 carry for 1 yard. As a team, the Wildcats rushed the ball 25 times for 188 yards. That's an average of 7.5 yards per carry. Through the air, quarterback for the Wildcats, Blaine Stansberry, he was 19 of 35 for 132 yards. He had 2 interceptions on the night. Receiving for the Wildcats, Will Presley had 6 receptions for 59 yards. Amonte Bishop, 22-yard reception. Malik Howard, 3 receptions for 18 yards. Adam Washington, 2 receptions for 13 yards. Amarian Willis had a 12-yard reception. Demillion Porter, 3 receptions for 5 yards. And Jarrell Jimerson had 3 receptions for 3 yards. So as a team, the Wildcats had 188 yards on the ground on 25 carries, at 132 receiving yards on 19 receptions for a total offense tonight of 320 yards. They had 18 first downs in the ballgame. They were penalized 4 times for 40 yards. Now looking at Halls, they were led on the ground by Ezra Hastings. He had 18 yards on 13 carries. Amari Lefko, their quarterback, 16 yards on 10 carries. Michaelis Daniel, 9 yards on 3 carries, and Brody Rogers had 2 carries, netting 0 yards. So on the ground, Halls Red Devils had 43 yards on 28 carries. That's an average of 1.5 yards per carry. So a great night for Oak Ridge defense. Quarterback for the Red Devils, Amari Lefko, he was 13 of 22 for 122 yards. He had 3 interceptions. 2 of those returned for touchdowns. Receiving for the Red Devils, Jarrell Chandler led the Red Devils with 2 receptions for 69 yards. Cooper Faust, 3 receptions for 21 yards. Brody Rogers had 15 yards on 3 receptions. Ezra Hastings, 13 yards on 4 receptions, and Gabe Holmes had a 4-yard reception for the Red Devils. So as a team, Halls had 43 yards on the ground on 28 carries. They had 122 yards through the air on 13 receptions for a total offense tonight of 165 yards. Halls had 10 first downs in the ballgame. They were also penalized 4 times for 40 yards. So again, this is Mark Hayes. Oak Ridge victorious tonight by a final score of 28-13. Alex?
Thank you very much, Mark, and we appreciate those still listening. We are about 3.5 hours in. This was a long game. Injuries, commercials, more injuries, and so I know everybody, it's a school night, so we'll wrap this up quickly. But Mike Sheehan, before I get your final thoughts, I do want to get the final scoring recap.
Thank you very much, Alec. It's been a great night for the Wildcats. Tickled to death with the outcome. And things really got started off pretty rough because the Red Devils drove down the field, 58-yard drive, got down to about the 20-yard line, and then they tried a pass play into the corner of the end zone. Qualibez Williams stepped in front of it, intercepted the ball, and the Wildcats got a big turnover and got the ball out to the 20-yard line. Then with 3 minutes and 39 seconds, Oak Ridge's Tyree Porter ran one back, another interception, 80 yards for a pick six, put the Wildcats up 6-0. And then the extra point by Kyler Sachs was blocked, so the Wildcats led 6-0. Then with 9 minutes and 27 seconds left, Porter ran one in from 19 yards out, Tyree Porter again, and put the Wildcats up 12-0. Kyler Sachs' kick was blocked again, and the Wildcats led 12-0. Then with 6:14 left in the first half, Jarrell Jimerson intercepted yet another pass, ran it in from 28 yards out for another pick six, and the Wildcats went up 18-0. Oak Ridge attempted a 2-point conversion. Blaine Stansberry threw a perfect strike to Malik Howard in the left-hand corner of the end zone, and the Wildcats led at the half, 20-0. Then in the third quarter, 7 minutes and 12 seconds into the third quarter, Armani Lithgow threw a 23-yard touchdown pass to Cooper Files for the Halls Red Devils. They scored. Now the score was 20-6. Then Parker Crittenden came in and kicked the extra point for the Red Devils, and they ended up getting 7 points. And the Wildcats led 20-7. But with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third quarter, Blaine Stansberry threw another pass to Malik Howard, who ran it in from 22 yards out, and the Wildcats went up 28-7. And then with 7 minutes and 51 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the last score of the game was a pass from Armani Lithgow to Jarrell Chandler for the Red Devils on a 35-yard pass play. Extra point by Parker Crittenden was no good, and the Wildcats ended up winning this game by 15, 28-13. An outstanding performance by the Oak Ridge Wildcats, and it just so happens this was their 700th win, and Oak Ridge will become the youngest school in Tennessee to do so.
Thank you very much, Mike. Great to be back on with you as usual. I'll toss to you, David Clary, for your final thoughts, and we wrap it up as Clinton awaits next week.
We don't have much time. I'll just close it out here. Great win for the Wildcats. The Dragons coming up next. And what Mike just said about 700 wins, 17 years younger than the next team that's done that. 12 teams have done it before. Appreciate Alex and all of our camera guys and Brian Bennett back in the studios of FM 92.7. Our next broadcast of Oak Ridge High School football will be coming up Friday from Clinton, Tennessee, when the Wildcats take on the Dragons in another non-region ball game. For all the people I mentioned before, this is David Clary. Until next week, saying so long, everybody.